great.
Ghost ride, it doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't ghost ride like your dad did. You little bitch.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
He has a lot of problems.
Struggle to be top 5 in points at the end of the season.
Wow.
You bleach your hair, you're a sellout.
Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Moto Aftermath Show. This is episode number 244. We are back in studio here. We are going to wrap up the Southwick National here. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of stuff that's starting to come out here as far as silly season things go. Obviously, the big news with Cooper Webb this week. I jumped on, did a quick video, so make sure to go check that out. It's on the channel here. But me and Justin are going to cover that too. Before we get started, I freaking forgot to do this again today. Darn it. Just want to thank our sponsors here. If I get the right email, that would help too. So just want to thank our sponsors here. So we're going to start with our presenting sponsors. First up, TLR Coatings, Michigan's #1 custom powder coating shop. They powder coat everything from two-tone wheels to any sort of motorcycle project you could be working on. So make sure to check them out at tlrcoatings.com or on all the major social media networks at TLR Coatings. Also presenting here, kind of new old sponsor, CompleteMedSolutions.com. Coach Rob and his development team have added yet another level of evaluation feedback with the introduction of Complete Med Solutions, a comprehensive blood evaluation service that can quickly and conveniently get you an accurate snapshot of your current level of health and athletic potential. If you're struggling with fatigue, sleep, and or athletic performance, let Coach Rob and his staff of medical doctors take a comprehensive look at the health of your blood, the foundation of health, to determine what adjustments need to be made with your nutrition and exercise habits to turn these symptoms around as quick as possible. Turnaround time from date of purchase to speaking with a CMS doctor is 14 days. No waiting for a referral from your primary care provider. No waiting for blood scripts, etc. This service will be available beginning July 15th, and details can be found at CompleteMedSolutions.com. Or if you have any questions, you can send an email to contact@CoachRob.com. Or if there's any privateers out there that want to hit him up asking about this kind of stuff, because this can be really, really helpful for you, DM me, shoot me a text, something like that, and I will get you guys in contact with Coach directly there. So, also on board with us, Holster Co. Reload Rant. I do have a rant.
So do I, actually.
Oh,
well, it's not a rant about the broadcast. It's just some topic, a topic that I have a rant.
Okay, you got a rant too?
Yep.
Gutterworks is going to be bringing you our 450 race recap, a.k.a. my nap time on the weekends, because that's pretty much what it's turned into here. And then Adept Creative Co. going to bring you our 250 race recap, which we got a lot to talk about with that. And Isaac Nelson Designs, as always, going to bring you our Deegan Danger Zone section, because I'm feeling dangerous.
Okay, white stew.
Wow. You racist fuck. Holy shit.
Anyways.
That might be the most racist thing I've ever heard you say.
I could come up with something more.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We like to stay on YouTube. So, in studio with me here, usual co-host, it's Justin. Hey, bud.
Oh, hey, man. What's going on?
I mean, you could have came inside and had some cake. We were having cake, bro.
I don't really do cake. I do strawberry shortcake.
We didn't have that.
Oh, well, you're a disappointment then.
Okay. Great.
Still care about you.
Yeah. Also, Privateer Hero and World Supercross guy, Kevin Moranz, going to come on a bit later here, kind of talk us through WSX. I'm going to talk us through Southwick National here, because he's been just doing it all. So we'll have him on here in a little bit as soon as he gets back from his flight. We are going to cover, like I said, Southwick National. We've got Tomac news. We've got Webb news. We've got WSX we're going to talk about here too. So lots to get into. What do you want to start with?
Well, do you want to just kind of start with our normal review, 450 class, like we kind of
Sure.
do? I feel like that other stuff we can talk about it after we do all the recaps.
Okay, sure. 450 race recap brought to you by our friends at Gutterworks. Gutters always well hung, just like Justin Barsha. If you're in the Southwest Michigan area and you need any sort of gutters or outdoor exterior remodeling stuff done. Make sure to check them out. Josh and Kayla, great moto people. Link in the description down below. All right. Well, we're now 12-0. He definitely looked beat after those motos.
It's humid, as it always is at the Wick.
Which was different than what we've seen with him.
Which kind of gives a little bit more, I think, kind of shows that he was trying a little bit harder yesterday.
So I will say, I think the perfect season thing, I don't know that he really cares about it. I was listening to an interview with Dan Truman on the Moto 60 show last week, on Steve's Moto 60 show, and Dan's really close with the Lawrence brothers. Like, I think he manages that compound they have or something. But anyway, and he said, he was like, so Jett came to me this week, and he goes, dude, if Tomac was here, do you think I'd beat him?
Because this is like a thing now. Like, it is crazy how much they're talking about the broadcast, bringing up to. But it's
what the hell else are you going to talk about?
Stu and Ricky, obviously, the only ones that are like qualified to talk about this. But it is just wild, like how much of a debate this is about Jett. And you're right, like it's kind of hard to talk about other people. Like you can, but like it's crazy to hear like Stu and Ricky break down like their opinions of Jett, because this is like uncharted territory for those two to ever kind of talk about this stuff.
Yeah,
and it is wild to hear like the way how polar opposite both of them are when it comes to what they do or don't think Jett is doing.
Yeah,
where like Ricky is kind of, and I don't know if this is just Ricky trying to appeal to the masses. He's kind of going with like what the normal thought of what Jett is doing, as opposed to Stu is kind of like what I believe and what some of the other people believe. Like, yeah, he's trying. Could he get beat? Yes. Would he still have the championship? Probably. But he's not unbeatable. Chase is going to beat him. Eli would beat him. It's crazy to hear the back and forth banter on the broadcast when those two start talking about this, because this is something in my lifetime, because I've seen, I was there, I witnessed it in person on TV. I was part of all of that. To hear those two talk about something that really up until this point was never, ever talked about.
Here's the thing. You want to talk about the guys who are most qualified to talk about, A, if he can do this, and B, where it stacks up. Those two are it.
Yeah, they're the only ones.
They're the only ones
like everybody else,
to talk about this
all
stuff.
of us, even if you were to get somebody as accomplished as Eli Tomac, like he's not really qualified to talk about
Nope.
it. Like Hurlings, Geyser, Kevin, like you can go through all the greats, McGrath, Ricky, like everybody. Nobody's qualified to talk about this outside of those two. And it is just, it's, for me, as a person who was part of that era, I mean, obviously I was part of the 90s era to begin with, but that era, I love it because it's just, it's something that has, up until this year, never really been discussed. It's almost like it was a taboo thing to talk about, because it's like, well, Ricky and James are the only ones that are allowed to talk about this shit.
Yeah.
Well, now it's like they're in the booth and they're talking about it. And I kind of feel like it's blowing people's minds, because it's just something that up until this point, they've been asked questions about it, but they've never really expanded on the whole perfect season
and
thing.
now they're having to expand on it, which is super interesting. I will say, so the show last week, maybe it wasn't last week, but you've said, oh, it's not as impressive. They're not racing as many people. There was a guy in the comments, I don't know if you saw it, broke down the entire thing. Like, you know what? This is actually, even though like it doesn't look as good or whatever, because there isn't that other guy that's really pushing him.
Yeah.
He broke down the dudes during Ricky and Stu's era, like perfect seasons, like who had won titles and stuff like that, who were in the class with them, versus the Jett train.
Yeah.
And they're like, and they only did healthy people too. It wasn't like they were running like Barsha and Anderson and all this crap like that. And they're like, dude, this is the list for Jett, and it's like, brrr, and then it's like Stu and Ricky, brrr, brrr, like there's no comparison as far as like how many accomplished dudes, which I know it's still different, but I was just like, well, that's an interesting point to bring up.
But you also have to remember the guys that they were racing, though.
Yeah.
They also raced them in other classes, and that's why those guys don't have as many championships.
Yeah, well, and like
because Kevin Wyndham,
I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like,
Oh, there's
the
no
long
denying
and skinny.
it, yeah.
Like when you lay it out on paper, it's like, dude, Jett's got all these title guys who have all these titles, because that's what he was basically listing. Was like, I'm not sure if he did wins, but I know he did titles for different guys who were in the class. Like I said, with Jett now, and then with those two guys when they did their perfect season, and it wasn't even close. There were so many more now.
But I mean, you can also you can say the same thing about like when Eli Tomac was winning and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you started comparing, and it's kind of like apples to oranges, different era, whatever. But like you start comparing to go down the list, okay. So you look at a guy like Dylan Ferrandis, who obviously everybody know Dylan's one of my guys, and then you compare somebody like, okay, who would be the third guy? Chad Reed. Is Dylan on Chad Reed's level as far as accomplishments? No.
Well,
is Aaron Plessinger on Kevin Windham? Is what Kevin Windham did his accomplishments? Like, I get it, and I don't disagree with that, but it's just comparing what somebody has done as far as like titles. You have to also look at who those guys were racing at the time too. It's just something you never compare because it's different eras. It's like comparing the 80s to the 90s and the 90s to the 2000s, because and I've said this plenty of times, I still say you take Ricky and Stu at the level that they were at and you put them on modern bikes, they would beat all these guys and it wouldn't even be a question. So like, it's just, I get it, and it is very impressive. You look at what those guys accomplished, but I think it's just always going to be hard because it's totally different eras.
Look, it was interesting to see it written out, but I wasn't coming in hot with it to fist fight you over it.
Like, example, like if Eli was out there,
yeah.
Do you think Jett would be undefeated right now?
No.
Because I'm sorry, Eli would have beat Jett both motos yesterday in Southwick.
100%. Yeah.
Not to say that Jett still wouldn't win the championship.
Yep.
Not taking that away at all.
I'm 100% with the Stu train of thought.
He wouldn't be undefeated right now.
No.
And I know, once again, that's a hypothetical and you don't know.
And going back to what I said, Dan told him the same thing. He's like, dude, no way. He's like, Eli would have beat you at some point here. Like,
at some point, Eli would have been beast mode and Jett would have been like, I don't want to do that.
He's like, don't get me wrong. He's like, you're really fucking good too.
Yeah, of course.
But like, Eli's Eli Tomac.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Whatever. So
yeah, it's crazy that we're a point that we're talking about this, and it's crazy to hear Ricky and Stu talk about it because, like I said, up until this point, like this has never really been discussed. But it is weird to me that they're on two different ends of the spectrum. Like Ricky, once again, is with the most what people believe, whereas Stu is kind of like he doesn't really think that Jett a lot of times isn't pushing harder than we think. Like Ricky just believes, Jett can just wick it up at any time.
Yeah.
Whereas like Stu is kind of like the stuff that I've been saying, which
Stu is very hard on the like he's pushing it, and it's like, man, there's sometimes that I see that, but I'm like, man, dude, there's a lot of times that like I'm sorry, I just don't agree with that, and I know I have nowhere to talk compared to Stu.
I also think Stu is one of the guys that's actually more qualified to talk about who's pushing and who's not, as opposed to Ricky. Because Ricky was always full bore. Ricky was always full bore.
I was gonna say, so I haven't watched enough Stu. I've watched a lot of Stu stuff, but I haven't watched enough, and I wasn't around in that era.
Yeah.
To know what he looked like if he looked this slow, kind of like Jett did yesterday. I mean, dude, there was no point yesterday that I looked at Jett and was like, man, he's fucking pushing.
But then you look at how spent he was, it's like...
Yeah, but it was always just like, man, he's just cruising. But yeah, you look at how spent he was, and it's like, holy shit! Like, yeah, he must have been pushing.
I mean,
like
even
something.
look at that fast lap, that heater he was trying to put in the second moto, and then when I don't know if it was Marchbanks that got in the way with him, like, dude, he was pushing.
Yeah.
So it's just, once again, I think it's a technique thing, because like I used to say this about Kevin Windham. Everybody's always said it. You look at K-Dub and you're like, dude, he's not even trying, and then you're like, oh, he's at the top of the board. It's just Jett. He hops up over shit, whereas Chase just plows into shit.
Dude,
it's the same thing with Eli. Like, you know when Eli is going fast.
Yeah.
But with Jett, like the fact that he just wheel taps, he preloads, pops up and over shit. He's very light on the bike. You're like, dude, it's hard to think he's going fast. But once again, I've said it before in Supercross, it's because he's grabbing so much traction all the time because he's not burying it. That's why it's weird.
I never noticed how much Chase bulldogs shit until yesterday, and then I went, wow. Because like when you watch him compared to Jett ride, it is night and day different.
He does a lot of the same things that Jett does as far as how he approaches the track.
Like he's standing up and stuff,
and he pops up and over shit. But yes, they definitely.
But he pushes through a lot more shit than Jett does.
Exactly. And I think he developed some of that after racing Eli last summer.
I will tell you what though, dude. These guys. I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna disagree with me, but that's okay. I completely I'm not sure who beats him this year, because you look at like yesterday. Number one, this is something that I've noticed in the practice show, and I'm not sure if you've noticed it. Jett doing stoppies all over the place.
Yeah.
How many of those guys do you see doing that? Just like so relaxed on race day. They're just like, yo.
It's Kenny.
They're like, yo, what am I going to do? I'm going to do stop. Yeah,
Kenny
that's
used to
exactly
do that
it.
shit.
That's the last person I've seen.
And that's where the whole time he started doing the whole loading up on the front, riding and then hitting the whole shot.
Yeah, but that's not what that. And at first, when I first saw that a couple weeks ago, I thought, oh, that's what Jett's doing. Now I'm like, no, that's not what he's doing. He's just doing stoppies because he likes to do stoppies.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that's how relaxed he is.
Yeah.
And Dan said in the Moto 60 show on Thursday, he's like, dude, he's like, honestly, he's like, I don't know if somebody beats him because the kid is so just, and he doesn't want to say he doesn't care, but he's like, dude, he's so just week by week, like, oh yeah, I'm just going to race my dirt bike.
It's because he's a rookie and he doesn't know any better because he's still a kid. Well, I have noticed though, outside of the second moto at High Point, because he didn't get a good start, pretty much he's got starts all year long outside of that moto. And it's the same. It's what happened when Chase ripped the Holy and when Dylan. I think because he is so loose all the time, that's why he can go so hard so early.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to me, and we get here in a few weeks, and we'll get to where I think Chase is going to be in these next couple rounds. What it would be like if he has to race somebody else's race at the beginning of the moto, and people are like, well, High Point, he got a bad start. He was only doing what he was doing because that track was blown out.
Yeah.
So it's like. But because he is so loose so early in the motos, that's why he can get a gap the way he does. The same thing when he got around Chase, got around Dylan. Because I'm sitting there, I'm going, dude, what the fuck are you guys doing? But then it clicked with me. I'm like, it's because Jett just is so willy-nilly with his attitude.
Yeah.
He doesn't think about the fact of, man, I might blow myself out if I try to push this hard at the beginning of the moto. So he gets those big gaps, and then he makes people ride his race. He makes them come, and then he can wick it up because he has more energy. So it's going to be interesting to see the moment when somebody gets to start and he can't get around him really early.
But here's the thing. When the fuck are we going to see that? Because yesterday, I'll be real honest. When Sexton yanked that start, was it the first moto or second
first moto? Dylan got
when,
the start
when
second
Sexton,
moto.
When Sexton yanked that start first moto, I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah,
like,
but
this is going to be a fucking battle. And then in two corners, he blew by Chase like he was standing still. And I'm like,
Chase isn't
okay. Never fucking mind.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, and like I said, I really noticed yesterday because I got frustrated because I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, I understand you don't want to blow yourself out, you don't want to make a mistake, especially if you're stiff at the beginning of the moto, which a lot of normal people are.
Yeah.
Which Jett is not normal. A lot of normal people are stiff at the beginning of the moto, like they're trying
Just
to get
kicking it, bro.
Yeah, their heart rate's up super high, but they're whatever. But I'm like, dude, what are you fucking guys doing? Like, if I'm Chase and I'm on the inside of Jett, I'm like, dude, I'm running you wide in the corner. Like, I don't care. You got to do something to get this kid off of his comfort zone or out of his comfort zone, however you want to word it, because I think these guys are giving this kid too much leeway. Dude, run it in. I'm not for dirty riding, but at this point, it's kind of the same shit with what Ricky and Stu did back in the day.
I honestly think Dylan would, but Dylan can't fucking hang.
Well, and we'll get to that in a minute with the way Dylan, with his bullshit that he's got.
He can't fucking hang right now.
Well,
dude. And I know there's shit going on. Like, that's whatever.
We'll get to that in a second.
But like, he can't hang. And Sexton, dude, I'm here to tell you, if we go next week into Millville and they pull starts on him like they did this week or whatever, and he blows by them in the first two corners, outside of Unadilla, because I just don't know how well Jett's going to ride Unadilla after last year. I don't give a shit about Washougal either. The only one I'm worried about is Unadilla.
Jett hasn't won Washougal yet.
Jett hasn't won on... Did Jett win...
Yeah.
He's won all these other tracks?
The tracks that he struggles with the most is Washougal and Unadilla.
Well, I'm here to tell you, at this point, the only one I'm really concerned about is Unadilla. And the way he's riding, I'm still like, dude, he's going to have so much confidence, it's not going to matter, because it's going to take him 10% higher just in confidence alone. That it's like, because like I said, literally yesterday when Sexton got that start, I was like, oh yes. I was like rubbing my hands because I was like, finally, we're going to get a 450 race here. Yeah. That's going to be like last year, battle to the end or whatever. Because Chase can ride the wick. He's okay.
He's not great in the sand, though. He's not great. He's even said
well,
this.
that's what he said. And then last year, he fucking did whatever he did with it.
I mean, Eli
yeah,
he beat him down. I don't think I expected him to beat Jett in the sand. And we might as well just get to Chase at this point.
Sexton goes 2-3 for third.
2-3. What?
2-3 for third.
He went 2-2 yesterday.
No, he went 2-3. Dylan went 3-2.
Are you looking at Redbud or are you looking at the Wick?
Oh, fuck.
I was about to say.
I clicked Southwick, but I
was about to say, Chase went 2-2.
It's hard to tell because Jett's always at the top with 1-1. Yeah, okay, so Sexton goes 2-2. Sorry.
Yeah, so I didn't at any point think that he was going to win the WIC yesterday because he's even said, like, he is not great in the sand. It's something he's got to work on. Like, I mean, but we go to Millville last year. He should have split motos with Eli. The only reason he didn't win that first moto is because the rut gave out, blew out going down the hill before Mount Martin. And then the second moto, like, Eli just wanted to go beast mode and Chase had nothing for him.
Yeah.
These next 3 rounds, to me, are probably the rounds that I could see he's going to give Jett trouble because I think they're probably 3 of his favorite tracks outside of Paula.
Yeah.
But no, I just yesterday, Chase, I think he tried to up to a level that he probably was not comfortable with trying to run with Jett. And I think because he's obviously not 100% yet, he blew himself out.
Whoa. Now, wait. Haven't you heard?
No.
Supposedly that mono test he got was a false positive.
Oh, I'm not even talking about the mono bullshit. I'm talking about the fact of, like, he just hasn't been riding.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, I've now heard that mono test was a false positive.
We all know he didn't have mono. I wasn't referring to that. It was the fact of, like, who knows how long he's even been on the bike, how much training up until Red Bud second race. No, I still believe that, and I stand by what Stu said. If Chase never would have got hurt at Paula in the first practice and then in the middle of the week in the secret test, we would have had a battle this year.
It wasn't a secret test. That was a big test. There were a bunch of teams there.
Well,
it wasn't
secret test in the sense that nobody else heard about it outside of the know people. So not secret. You're right.
There's a lot of secrets happening right now.
Yeah, whatever. We'll get to that. But I still believe that Chase, this would be a battle for the championship. Like, there's no reason to believe, especially now hearing Jett say, yeah, I was going 95%. Like, because they asked him about that. Like, where is your level at? And he goes, yeah, 95%. Once again, we know that going 100% on a 450.
I'll tell you what, he didn't look beat down after the race yesterday.
Who's that? Chase?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No.
He looked fine.
No, he looked fine. I think it's just one of those is just getting your reflexes back to what it was. And once again, being off the bike for a while.
Well, I'm here to tell you, if he doesn't win a moto next week, I don't know that he beats him this year.
I think I would give the best chances at Washougal, Unadilla, Millville. I think it's
he was good at Millville last year, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
He was really fucking good.
I think Millville, it's a 50-50 shot. I think it goes up Washougal, Unadilla, especially Unadilla because Jett's just not been great there for some odd reason.
Let me ask you this. If we get to Washougal and he hasn't beat him, do we see Chase not ride the rest of the outdoors?
No, I think he's going to ride because I think
you think he's going to keep busting his confidence like this? Because I'll tell you what, this isn't good upstairs wise for him to continue to get beat down by this kid.
I think he's gotta keep riding because who knows what his situation is going to be going into the SMX rounds. Because we don't know. Is he going to be on a Honda? Is his KTM deal going to start then? Like, what's the?
He's not riding KTM for SMX. His Honda deal's through October 1st.
Well,
he's gonna be. Look,
hey, clearly we found out that it doesn't fucking matter.
We will get to that. But no way, he's going to ride Honda.
All right, so then he's going to keep riding.
They're talking about, like, if he wants to ride, what's it called? Like, is Honda going to give him designations?
He's not riding designations. No fucking way. Actually, that was something I was going to ask you if you wanted to bring up.
We can talk about it later.
We're not sending a team.
You don't think we're going to send a team at all?
No, we're not sending a team.
You don't think we're going to send a team at all?
Who the fuck are we going to send? Who are we going to send?
That's a great...
Your 250 guy, you have choice between Hayden, Deegan, and RJ. Who's your 450 guys? Cowie's not sending anybody.
Cowie's not going to send
Chase is not going to go. Cooper Webb's obviously not going to go. Eli's not going to be... Who are you going to send?
RJ will be on a 450. And I don't know who the next one
Marshall
is.
Won't be ready by then. So that's the thing is, who's our next best American?
This is something that was brought up this week, and they were like, look, the only reason I think Chase would go and like try to work it where he just rode the... Number one, he's going to KTM, where DeCoster's in charge of the Diz Nations team, okay? DeCoster is the same way as us, no matter what we say, of like, he wants to save face too, so like, forcing him to not go or ride his new bike is fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So he's going to be like, all right, look, we'll let him ride the Honda. I think Honda and Lars like that event enough that they would send him. And
do you think Jett and Hunter go?
And oh yeah.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Because they think they're going to win.
Australia?
Oh yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh yeah, those two are gonna lead fucking Australia to as close as they can fucking get for
go,
as
but they're
many.
not gonna. They won't win.
Their
third guy's way too.
I don't know what the third guy situation is. So
Well,
I'm way out on that. But back to the U.S. thing, and it's because Chase will get to run the number 1 plate on his bike, which I think would be a big check mark because he still has enough of that pride in the U.S. type deal for that kind of shit that he would want to do that. And who knows if he's ever going to get that chance again in his career. So it's like, okay. And the other thing is it's only a week after the SMX shit's over. So it's like he's going to be on the Honda anyway. Then you have a week of outdoors. Then you go do this. And then you can jump on the KTM. So you're not really even going to get a jump.
I just personally don't believe we send a team because of the fact that
there's no way we don't send a team. There's no way they don't send
somebody
the 1, 2, 3.
who loves MX of Nations. I just don't see it, man. It's gonna be a shit show. There's nobody they're gonna fucking send. We're gonna get.
Oh, they're gonna send Deegan.
We'll get smoked.
No, they're gonna send Deegan.
Well, yeah, I mean, because he's gonna be outside of something crazy. He'll probably be the number 1 US 250 guy. But we're gonna get smoked.
They're gonna send Deegan. RJ's already been panhandling, trying to fucking get on the team, which I think he's gonna be the 450.
You're gonna have to
the MX3 guy.
You'll have to,
and then you're gonna or whatever
MX3.
MX3. And then Chase is going to be your MX1 guy. That's how it's going to go.
If that is the team, we're going to get smoked.
There's no. You heard it here first. I know they've been talking about it on a lot of other shows this week, but I'm going to stamp this as you're going to have Chase go on the Honda with the number 1 plate for MX1. You're going to have RJ go with the number, is it 3 plate?
Yeah.
For MX3, and you're going to have Deegan going to go with the number 2 for the MX2 class.
Well, if that's the case, if Hunter and Jett and then Chase do go that Honda tent's going to be real interesting because Tim Geiser's going to be there for a while. He's going to be there because Slovenia they'll send a team this time.
Yeah, because
so and Geiser comes back this weekend for Czech Republic.
Oh, does he? Cool.
So you're going to have a weird dynamic there.
Yeah, it's
That's
whatever,
gonna
man.
Be a weird fucking thing.
I don't really care. I'm not even going to be around it.
You know that I love that event. I do. But I think us sending a team this year is a terrible idea.
There's not a chance. We sent a team that was Thomas Covington, Seeley, and Zach Osborne. And you don't think we're going to send a team this year, especially with Deegan? Get out of here. No way. And the 1, 2, 3 plates, there's no chance we don't send a team.
I think it's a terrible idea.
We will send fucking...
We didn't send a team in 2021?
Fucking E-. Yeah, well, 2021 had a whole different set of ball game problems going on.
Well... If we do send a team, it'll be great because that's part of the thing that makes that event. But at Ernée in France, not a chance in hell. We'll get
the only way we don't send,
and I don't think that Australia team ain't gonna win. Either.
The only way we don't send
the French team will fucking win.
Either Chase or RJ, depending upon however you want to work this, would be the oddball of Cooper Webb. But we'll get to what could happen with that.
I don't think Cooper Webb ever wants to go back to Ernée.
Well,
after
we'll
see.
Anyway,
so with Chase,
tangent.
I think that I feel like the show's gonna be a lot of that with all the shit going on. I think he can. It's a 50-50 shot next weekend. But I still believe had he not had his issue at Paula, I think that this would be a totally different situation because there's I've said this a million times. There's no reason not to believe after the way those two rode that second moto at Paula that Chase can't run with Jett. And I think even Jett was a little surprised that he dropped him because you notice how much he was looking around that first moto.
Oh yeah.
After Chase got into lappers, and like I said, I think Chase blew himself out.
Maybe.
I think he blew himself out.
Okay, so explain this to me here then. So Dylan goes 3-3. What happened to your boy yesterday?
Really?
Yeah.
You shouldn't ask that. He fucking hates that bike. I have never seen Dylan.
He hates that bike.
I've never seen Dylan this visibly pissed off about a bike setup since his Bud Kawasaki days.
Did you listen to his pulp?
He's done.
Interview?
He's no, but he was talking about because he doesn't have a deal, and then the whole retiring thing. He's not going to retire.
Truman said he's talked to some wives that are real close there. Like that's not a joke. That's a legitimate thing.
He'll end up on a team. It's just I don't think it's going to be the situation he wants.
I want to know who the manufacturer is that's going with who twisted the Twisted Tea Suzuki
the Hemp
teams.
Team?
Yeah,
I think he ends up on Hep with Kenny.
What's the manufacturer Hep's going after though? They're going after a manufacturer right now.
They're
trying to get off Suzuki's.
I think that they've talked to KTM, and I think Honda's been thrown around quite a few times.
Boy, that would be interesting. The Honda thing. Do you want to know the super interesting thing I heard about? Like the Twisted Tea situation or whatever with that. So that's the same situation as the Bud Light thing.
Yeah.
Back in the day with McGrath.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what's real fucked up? Is like you can't have a rider that's under 25.
That's why Dylan Schwartz and Marshall they're the progressive team. They're not the Twisted Tea team.
That's super duper interesting to me.
Yep. So I think that he ends up at Hep. or whatever it's going to end up being.
I mean,
called.
that's the only place to go because everywhere else is full, man.
Yeah, he's been talking to him. I know
he's
that
not going to stay where he's at. I'll tell you that much right now.
No, he's not going to be on that team. But he is uber pissed off. And dude, like I said, I have not seen Dylan that visibly upset with the bike since his Bud Racing Kawasaki days.
He was good yesterday. Or, I'm sorry, last week at Red Bud. He was good. And then, like, this week, it's like he's 45 seconds off.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, like I said, I think he's over that team. He's over that bike. I don't know what happened from last year to this year outside of the not talking about the bike, the team dynamic with him. I don't know if this has a lot to do with Eli being up in the air, with Cooper Webb coming over.
Do you think it's a team dynamic, or do you really think he just can't get that bike figured out?
I think I would say it's more the bike.
I was gonna say because everything you hear is like Star will try a lot of shit.
Yeah, you know what they should try? Put him on the 2022.
That's not an option.
Well, that should be the fucking option because I tell you what, he'd be 10 times better on that 2022.
Maybe.
Because he wouldn't be getting beaten by 45 seconds if he was on the 2022 yesterday.
It's so weird though how he was so much better at Red Bud and then we get yesterday. I mean, I guess I know it's a sand track, it's different, but it's still like it's super.
Yeah.
It's weird of like how good he was. We'll see if he's better this week. Hopefully he is. Of course, he did say too like they did a ton of testing and he kind of fucked that up.
I still just don't understand.
Tired.
I still think just dude his chassis, that head thing so squatted in the rear. He can't get away with that. He doesn't steer with the rear tire. He's not like Ryan Villapoto.
No.
He rides from center to front, and you can't have that back end squatted that much when you ride at the front of the bike.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand it, and I think that's part of it too, man. I think he was coming in a lot of those berms, especially the sweep. That front end's just sitting high, and he couldn't get the front end to plant, especially coming out all the square edges. And, dude, like I said, I have not seen Dylan that visibly pissed off about a bike setup since he was an MX2 guy on Bud Kawasaki. And that was 10 years ago. Dylan is normally, like, we know this about Dylan. Say what you want about him. I like the dude. I know people have issues with him, whatever. Say this thing about Dylan. He's not a guy that stirs the pot as far as team-wise goes. He never has. If he's had an issue, it's something you don't see him talk about it. Yesterday?
I don't know. He'll
when has he ever thrown Star under the bus?
He'll be on it. He hasn't.
That's what I mean.
But that's probably because the bike has never been this bad.
And that's what I'm saying, though. He's never stirred the pot as far as his team goes. Yesterday, I don't think you could have paid him to say a good thing about that bike.
Yeah, it's bad. It's a bad situation.
And he's probably pissed off, especially going, what the fuck, dude? Like, I should not be getting beat by this much. And I know in his heart of hearts, he knows he can beat these dudes, and he is probably every moment. See, with him, whereas Chase, I don't think it's as much of a mental thing, because with Chase, it's different, because Chase is probably going, well, I know I can beat this kid. Like, I proved I can run with him, whereas Dylan is just like, dude, it's my fucking bike. Like, Chase doesn't really have a big excuse outside the fact of he's been off. Dylan, for him, I don't think that every time he gets beat by Jett or Chase, he's going, oh man, I can't beat these guys. I think he's just, every time he rides that bike, he just gets more and more frustrated. So I don't think going into whatever happens with him next year, mentally he's going to go, fuck, dude, I'm going to get smoked by these guys. I think he can literally hang his hat on the fact his bike sucks, which really makes me wonder how Eli would be doing this year on that bike.
That's a good question. That's something else that I'm factoring into this a bit of like, so if we had Eli there developing the bike for outdoors too, because that's the other thing too, is like Dylan's the only 450 guy developing that bike. Like there isn't anybody else. So
you know what the wild thing is? Granted, totally different track setup, a lot more fast paced over there as opposed to here. Dude, the Yamaha guys over the GPs
are doing great.
No issues. Stuart Koltenoff and up until Renault got hurt, no issues whatsoever.
Yeah, they asked him that, and he kind of danced around it a little bit. He was like, well, yeah, they talked to the Euro guys, but like we don't have any of their setup or anything.
I honestly also think I chalk it up to the fact that those dudes ride more than our guys, and I think that they just are better at setting up bikes.
Yeah, that could be too. So, so AP goes 4-4. He has a back injury.
He also was, what was worse? Dylan getting beat by what he did, or the fact of Dylan had over 40 seconds on AP in fourth? What was worse?
I don't know, man. It was weird yesterday. There was none of these dudes could fucking hang. None of them. Like Jett had them all covered. I know he only beat Sexton by like 10, 12 seconds, but I really think that was a management thing, to be honest.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the fact of Dylan had 40 seconds on AP in fourth.
Yeah.
I think that's...
He's got back injury.
Yeah, whatever. I think this is just a thing that everybody's like, hey, we'll just like trickle it out that there's an injury, and the guys just goes, okay, cool, whatever.
Well, we all know it's because they took his fucking forks.
Yeah.
They took his suspension. They won't let him ride the stock stuff.
I don't know, man. This definitely reiterates the conversation we had last week, though, about AP. Like, dude, I love AP to death, but yesterday it was bad.
Well, and AP's not going to say anything because AP's re-signed for that team for next year, so he's not going to say shit. So
well, and I'm also looking at the schedule coming up, and outside of Budds Creek and Ironman, I can't find a track where I'm like, yeah, AP's gonna do better.
No, this is where he's kind of slotting in here. We're now starting to see the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Really get stacked up there. Marchbanks goes 10-5 for 5th. He is pretty good on that 450, man. If he could get off the fucking gate, it would be better.
Yeah, I mean, this also kind of makes Brandon Haas and what's his name?
I'm actually wildly impressed at how much of a public talking point that actually is, of how bad they were on the 250.
What is it, Mike Minacci or whatever?
I don't know.
I think it's Mike Minacci. That definitely makes them look like and I would never say this about Brandon Haas, because Brandon Haas, I actually respect the hell out of him. Makes him look real fucking dumb.
It makes that
because even our stupid asses are like, why is Garrett on a 250?
Yeah, well, the thing is that I don't think it was him on the 250. I think the 250 is not good that they have for some reason,
which is weird because that bike, granted, it's different outdoors Supercross, but that bike was fine in Supercross.
Yeah,
look how well Enzo did.
The outdoors is super 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 interesting that it's that bad outdoors. But man, it is, and he's gotten himself into the SMX shit now. So
yeah, that's also something too with the points I want to talk about. Like we can just go over it. I have a comment about that whole thing, and we've talked about it. But as far as the SMX goes with Garrett, it really does make me wonder how he's going to fare come SMX. Because obviously it's not a true. They're not true Supercross.
It doesn't matter. He go out there, just roll around and get 25K. So fuck it, do it.
No, I mean, it's like, I'm just curious if he comes in prepared, what his mindset's going to be. Is he going to be like, dude, never really ridden a 450 in Supercross? Granted, once again, not typical Supercross. Is he going to go out there and try to actually like, hey, I want to do well, get some top tens, or is he just going to kind of go there and it's going to be a learning experience for him?
Here's my thing. Is this like where he hovers? Is like that 5, 6, 7 range the rest of the outdoors?
Dude, that's where he was last year.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. We talked about this on our preview show.
Yeah.
That's where he was last year.
Yeah.
So, like, why would it be any different?
I don't know.
Like, I was more impressed that second moto, the fact when everybody was dropping anchor.
Mm-hmm. He was so moving.
And there's a factory guy, a couple of them that we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Yeah.
Dude, he just kept pushing through. Like, he did not, which is weird because he has Addison's disease. I thought he was like, yeah, he's not going to be good late in these motos. And he kept grinding through. So, yeah, very, very impressive. And you got to think if he gets starts, like he's 5 to 10, all easy.
100%.
I don't see why he wouldn't be.
100%. So Jose Butron goes Wildcat Racing. Wow. Goes 9-6 for 6.
Just picking dudes off.
Dude,
that
just
second moto.
picking them off late. A fucking shining star of veteran
Spanish
fitness.
savvy.
I heard. Did you know that he was as involved with like hurlings as what he is?
Dude,
Apparently
Butron back in the day in the MX2 class was like, for a long time was considered one of the best Spanish like MX2 guys ever.
Apparently, he has a journal, like a Tony Alessi style setup journal for like conditions, suspension settings, all that kind of crap. And then supposedly, like, he's real tight with Jeffrey.
Oh, yeah.
About setting stuff, which is
me,
weird.
Dude. Butron back in the day was legit.
Yeah.
The problem is when he got off the 250 and went to the 450 class, I think he went in too early because if I remember correctly, he bumped up to 450s before the whole under 23 rule came into play over there. And he wasn't on good machinery. He kept getting hurt, shit like that. But dude, Butron for a long time was a like perennial top 5 dude in the MX2 class back in the day when like Hurlings was there, when Kenny was there. Well, a little bit after Kenny, but like when Marv, when all those dudes like Tommy Searle, Benoit Patrell, all those guys. The crazy thing, and I understand people say, oh, it's sad because there was a couple other like mid-level GP dudes there. Dude, Butron has been kind of hovering around this 9 to 12 area most of the year.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how good those bikes, what kind of help they're getting right now. I know that they almost had to go back because they ran out of money and then Steve stepped up, whatever.
How much do you think it takes to sponsor that team? Moto Aftermath Show, Wildcat Racing, Ironman Series finale.
Probably not super expensive, but probably not cheap.
Like, we don't have any money, but like, could I shake my couch cushions for enough money to like get us on the side there, or what? I mean, that would be cool. Like, it's $5,000, you think? I don't know.
Probably like 5 to 10. I would assume. Probably like.
We got to text Lorenzo, find out.
But like Butron, dude, the last couple times he's rode the MXGP class,
Yeah.
he's not even been a top 15 guy.
Well,
And this is like the stuff that I always. This is not. I'm not trying
now we're sixth place.
And I'm not trying to make this a GP versus AMA debate. That's not what I'm saying. I just always find it odd when I see some guys like that. I'm like, dude. I'm like, how the fuck does he come over here?
That's a great question. And the thing is like, okay, if you have Barsha and Tomac and them, what's he floating around like?
Yeah.
8 to 12 guy, basically.
But then you still look at it and you go, he's not even top 15. So like, even if you put him in 8 to 12, you're like, outside of being the top level of our guys, it really actually shows the depth of our series as opposed to like those guys over there.
Yeah.
So then you start thinking, you go, okay, what if a guy like Jeremy Sewer came over here? Would he be winning? No. But like, would he be 5th?
You think Hurling's going to come over for the last 3?
Well, it depends on how healthy he is. I mean, he's out right now. So.
Well, yeah, I know that. I'm just saying, do you think he's going to be like, you know what, I'll just go to race the last 3 in the U.S. because that seems like a good idea.
I mean, he's definitely out of the points at this
Yeah.
point. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that'd be cool. I mean, it'd be cool to even just see him come back and do Ironman.
Yeah.
Like he did in 2017.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really cool for Jose Butron. Definitely just, I kind of like with Marchbanks. I didn't really expect him to be there at the end of that moto like that.
No.
And, dude, he
That
just
was
kept
wild to
grinding. He
watch
just kept
him.
grinding,
Yeah.
man.
Just
32-year-old
veteran,
man. Yeah.
Veteran savvy, bro. Doing it
Fucking
for us vet riders.
Been pro for like 17 years now.
It's totally
and
fine.
It's wild, man. But hey, dude, he's making it work, and I don't know, mad respect to him because, like I said, he's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. Local hero Chris Canning goes 8-7 for 7th, which we kind of all
Well, I
expected.
mean, he lives on the property.
He
so
literally lives there.
He probably motos down.
He's
to, like,
headed back to the barbecue right now.
Yes.
We gotta go to that camper, man. Get that barbecue.
I love having Stu.
Stu
on.
is
I just,
fucking.
Dude, he does not
he
give
is a
shit.
gem.
Knife the front end, bro. Knife the
the
front
front
end. Just
end.
knife the front. He's like, I be doing it, bro. Be like, yo, what happened to you, bro? I tucked the front.
Did you see the Moto Beams thing that was like Stu's advice to Sexton
yeah.
at the end of the thing, and it was just a guy from Rocky. Throw the damn towel.
Dude, I love it because like Ricky's Ricky, not trying to piss anybody off.
And James does
doesn't
not care.
I think
he doesn't care.
I
It's
love
so
this version of
awesome.
James because
He's feeling dangerous.
Well, dude, he's gotten to a point in his career where he just is okay with
Yeah.
who he
he
is. and
realizes that it doesn't fucking matter.
it doesn't fucking matter
No
because
one
he's
cares.
always going to be James Stewart.
Yeah.
And I think that's what is cool about some of these guys. Same thing with Villapoto. Like RV does not fucking care.
No.
But then you got people like RC and Dunge who are like trying to just appeal to the masses. Like, dude, just fucking let it go. But
Yep.
but anyways, Canning, yeah, I mean, dude, kind of figured he would do this at the Wick. I just didn't realize he had never gotten a top 10 though up to this point.
Yeah, that's
because you
weird.
look at some of the rides that he's had,
Yeah.
and you're like, holy shit. And then when you hear, yeah, he's never gotten a top 10, I'm like, what?
Yeah. It's wild. That's a good ride for him, for an off-road guy yesterday.
Yeah, and I've been doing the J-Day stuff.
Yeah.
Teaching classes, just living life.
Barbecuing at the trailer.
Probably doing motos at like 9:30 at night with the lights on.
9:30 at night with the lights on, which is awesome.
I hope he does Unadilla because he's also been really good at Unadilla in
yeah,
the past.
that'd be cool. Hey,
Maybe
he's got the camper. Just
roll on up there, bro.
roll it on up there.
Yeah, man. Just kind of shows, even though it is the Wick and he knows that track like the back of his hand. Like he's a talented dude.
Yeah.
You know. So
yeah. AC goes 7-8 for 8th. Couldn't
kinda
hold
there.
on.
Yeah,
I heard it
mean,
was rough for him holding on. So whatever.
Yeah.
Ty Masterpool goes 5-10 for 9th.
Definitely dropped anchor hard in that second moto.
Hard that second.
But he was.
one.
It seems like he
But
was.
that
in a-
first moto,
he was in a
was
battle. He was in a
pushing.
battle the whole time.
Yeah.
So you kind of expected that.
And he
to
looked
happen.
good that first moto too. He looked really good. God, he
What
is
do you
good.
think he would be doing if he was on a factory 450 right now? And I don't even mean the bike, just for the fact that he wouldn't have to worry about all the shit that comes along with being a privateer, and he could just focus on riding.
I don't know.
Because it's like he's 5th on a privateer 450.
yeah,
which we obviously know is easier.
I don't know that it does anything for him, to be honest with
would
you.
he be beating AP?
Maybe.
Because I feel he's not going to beat Dylan
I
Chaser
feel like
Jett,
he'd just
but,
be
like,
battling in that top 5 every single week. To be honest with you, I feel like that would be his situation there. So
I do like the fact though that he keeps acknowledging that, hey man, I got to prove to these guys I can ride Supercross.
Yep.
Which is a thing for a while. Him and his dad Jerry
Didn't
and
wanna
his,
do? Yeah.
his family didn't want to do it.
They're
were
going to the
against it.
SMX rounds.
Oh yeah,
He's
So we'll
made
see.
that clear.
How crazy would it be though that if all of a sudden it's just the fact that he needed to be on a 450 all these years,
Well,
and he
that-
just jumps in
That
and he's
could be a
like
thing,
top
too.
5.
That could be a thing too. I don't know. We'll see how these SMX rounds
I love
go,
the
'cause
Masterpool.
he's going to qualify.
Yeah, I love the Masterpool family, so I hope that he succeeds.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
We'll see. It's gonna be
He's just
interesting.
thankful to be on a bike.
But dude, if he gets a top 5, it'll be like, dude, you just need to be on a 450 all
He's
these
just
years.
thankful that he can just go buy a bike and go race.
Yeah, I know. That was the thing.
It's a very big thing.
It's true. I mean, I can't buy a Formula 1 car.
Jason Anderson goes 614 for 10th. He has a back injury also.
Oh, boy. That's...
Does he have a back injury, or he just came back and went, oh, you know what? This was stupid.
I think honestly what it is he just wants to be on a tryout. But no, that second moto was bad, dude.
It's
like when you're sitting down the whole entire lap, it's like, oh,
your back's not getting any better doing that.
back's
there,
not getting any
partner.
better, buddy.
Not on that track.
yeah, not on that, man. I just like pulled off and I'd have been like, can I just wait till Jett laps me and then I can just kind of.
I don't know, man. That
was bad. I mean, granted,
yeah.
he's not a sand guy and he's never been good at the wick like ever.
No.
Like even in the 250 days.
No.
But that second moto was like.
That was really bad.
I was like,
that was a really bad look.
There was a moment like with 10 minutes to go and I saw him dropping down. I'm like, is he gonna even get points now?
Yeah, that was a big question there. He went to 14th.
Dude, it was just it. You don't normally see
Do you
factory
think-
dudes like that though.
You think he'll get hurt also and not race the last three? Just like double check that he's got enough points no matter what to make those SMX rounds and just be like, see ya.
I mean, if he does have the points, yeah, totally. He probably won't show up, but he's just gonna probably get a jump on riding Supercross.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that second moto
Wasn't great.
It was really really bad.
Wasn't great. All right, so we've got Gert Krestino from Estonia.
Garrett Krestinoff.
Krestinoff.
Once again, not a
Picks
dude
him a
that
blowout.
not a dude that even scores fucking points in the GPs.
12-12 for 11th.
He was a bad man back in the day in the sand. Actually won an MX2 overall at Kegham's way back in the
Well,
day.
he went 12-12 for 11th.
He's also a fucking giant.
Well, that could be a thing, too.
He's like 10 feet tall.
Freddie Norn goes 15-11 for 12. Okay.
Freddie's having I don't think Freddie likes riding Suzukis right now.
I don't think so either. Nicoletti goes 11-16 for 13th.
Was really thinking he was going to die at some point yesterday. Really thinking that was going to happen.
Hawaii's own Grant Harlan goes 22-9 for 14th.
Shocking. Who
Going
would've
from
thought?
outdoors
Supercross?
to Supercross and back to outdoors was rough.
Oh, boy.
Lorenzo Lacrucio, the other half of Wildcat Racing there, went 17-13 for 15th. Lars Van Berkel, 16-15 for 16th. Chiz goes 14-17 for 17th. Jerry Robin, 13-34 for 18th. Luke Renslin made an appearance.
Yep.
On a 450, so
Yeah,
that was
not on a
interesting.
252
Not
stroke.
on a 252 stroke. He goes 18-20 for 19th. And rounding out the top 20, Carl Kutsar,
Carol Kutsar.
Carol, whatever the fuck. That other Estonia guy, 24-18 for 20th.
Yeah, that was all part of one of the teams that they ride over there. There's also a kid, I think his name was Charlie Putnam. They ride like the Revo series, and then they do the GPs. And Charlie's, I think it's Charlie. It's either Charlie or Josh. His dad, his name is Josh. His dad's name's Charlie. He owns that team. And people like were wondering like why the fuck would he come all the way over to America? Because Telviku, we'll talk about in the 250 classes on that team. Like why the hell would he come over and do Ride America as much money as it cost him? And his dad straight up said he's like, yeah, I mean we definitely could do better over in the GPs probably because like a lot easier, But his dad straight up said, yeah, we're gonna get more exposure going 10 to 20 in America than we would do in the GPs. And I was like, okay.
This is true. All right, so Privateer Hero, who's coming up on the show here, Kevin Moranz, goes 29-22 for 25th, which is actually better than I anticipated. Michigan, Jeff Walker, we had some classic Walker-Moranz battles.
Yeah.
Walker goes 28-23 for 26th. And then one more Michigan shout-out, Chris Prebula goes 36 DNS for 43rd.
Really surprised Jace didn't make the motos yesterday.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that there.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, that's
Yep.
okay. Yep, that's a
Really,
thing.
really surprised he did not make the motos yesterday.
Wonder what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really even know what to say anymore about the 450 class, which is weird.
It's a great nap time for me.
It's
like I can wake up, the same thing's happening. Jets winning.
Like I still like that is like I'll
It's like
still
a NASCAR race. I fall asleep. Jets leading. I wake up. He's still leading, and then he wins.
It's weird because I've been through this 3 times now and I've seen it. Part of it was a lot easier with Stu because Stu has always been my guy, but it's a weird thing to see because it's been so long since we've seen this. And once again, I've said this before, like he's not doing it in the fashion that I was used to. It's just I don't know, like. I still feel with even him being 12-0 at this point that we still we don't have a lot of questions answered, which you would think that we would by this point, but I think it's just because it's this debate. What is Jett doing? Is Jett doing this? Is he not doing this? Is he doing this? Especially when you hear RC and Stu talk about it. And it's like, okay, like, where do we go from here? Like, what's the ceiling? Like, I don't know. I think it's because it is Jett, and Jett is kind of a conundrum that people just don't know. People just don't know about him, which is fucking weird because he's been over here since 2020.
They talked about it a lot yesterday of how different it is of he manages these races compared to like when they raced. It was like just dominate everybody as hard as you can.
It's
like,
a different mentality.
Like you can fit 4 fists in their asshole.
Yeah.
You 4 fist those motherfuckers.
Exactly. It's a different mentality.
You don't worry about oh I'm just only gonna do the pinky. You're like nope, 4 fists.
I also
both feet and my head.
My whole leg. I also do
Folded
feel,
at the
though,
knee.
because it's something that they have talked about, and it's something that we've talked about, and I think everybody in the industry talks about, like, what is Jett's ceiling? He's only 19. I do feel, though...
What is his ceiling?
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. What do we figure he's got left? 7 years?
I mean, I guess it depends on how much money he makes.
7 perfect seasons outdoors.
That's never going to
I'm
happen.
totally kidding because he's as soon as this Honda contract's up, he's going to race WSX instead of this anyway. So
Yeah, well, I don't think... Anyways, WSX, I'm just not...
Wouldn't it be crazy if he perfect seasoned outdoors every single year?
Never going to happen. Never going to happen.
Never say never.
No, it's never going to happen.
It's highly unlikely.
Possible, but not
Do you think
probable.
there's a higher possibility of that or dying in an airplane crash?
Both about the same.
1 in 10 million. Okay.
So I do think, though, that I don't think as far as his ceiling as what he can do on a dirt bike track is much higher. I think the only thing that's going to change is how much more consistent, which is crazy to say because he's fucking 12-0, but the things he can do on the bike to even use less energy.
Yeah. He's going to get bored here is what's going to happen.
Well, that's and that's the same. Like it's kind of like with Ricky. Like Ricky was bored for a very long time until Stu came along, and say like it's gonna be one of those things that I don't think he can be that much better on a dirt bike.
Yeah,
because he's so naturally talented. The way he rides the bike, like the way his attitude is, it's hard to believe he's gonna do much better. I think it's just going to be how is he going to approach, and it's more going to be off the bike to his body to allow him to use even less energy on a bike and just be like I'm not even breaking a sweat at this point. So I don't think he's going to go much higher with his ceiling because it's kind of hard to see him going much higher, especially with, like I said, the way he rides a bike. Like he's not in this mentality of winning by a minute. It's just going to, the only thing I'm wondering, and I say this again, is what's going to happen the first time he really gets pushed to a level of him being uncomfortable, because we only saw it a few times on the 250s. Hit the ground, different story. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I still don't understand Jett. I don't think a lot of people do because they just don't know what he's doing half the time. Like I truly believe that because
he doesn't either. He's just riding.
He doesn't just go out there ride. Like, and it's funny too to hear the same thing. RC and Stu disagreed on that as well. RC's like, I don't think he's a thinker. Like, I don't think he goes... I think he just literally goes out there, and it's something I've said before with a lot of guys, goes off muscle memory, just reacts when it is. But then Stu goes, he's like, no, I think he is a thinker. It's just one of those things that I don't think he gets wrapped up.
I don't know. The way Dan Truman talks about how he
no
acts
offense to Dan, though. It's kind of one of those things, again, like, who are you going to believe? Dan Truman, even though he's close to him, or Stu and Ricky when they evaluate somebody?
No, and I'm not saying that Dan said this either way. I'm just saying that, like, the things Dan says about him with the questions he asks and the way he is just makes me think that, like, when it comes to this stuff, like, they're just in a lot going on up here. Like, as far as, like, overthinking or anything. Let's put it this way. He's not Ryan Dungey and testing himself into the ground here. He's just like, yeah, man, I'll just ride my dirt bike. It's fine. I don't really care. Whatever.
I think
set it up. It'll be fine.
I think
cool.
Supercross, crazy enough, is going to be more of an idea of where he is. Because even though he was more dominant on the 250 and Supercross than he was outdoors,
yeah,
we all know there's certain things you have to do on a 450 and Supercross that you just can't get away with.
I can't wait to see him scrubbing quads, dude. I mean, and I'm not talking like they do now. I'm talking like hard, like Stu scrubs on quads in Supercross, because that's what it's going to be. Did you watch the compilation video I put up from
Redbud?
Yeah, for the Leap.
No.
There's video in there of him scrubbing the Leap.
Yeah.
No one else does that.
Well, not now.
In the
Stu used to get upside down off the leap.
well, throwing a big whip is different. This wasn't a whip.
No, I mean, like, he literally would get vertical. It's vertical.
I mean, I'll go back and watch Stu's leap stuff and see if I can find something.
It's probably going to be
close.
hard because he was doing it usually on press day.
I was going to say, I'll see if I can find it. But, dude, I'm just saying, in 10 years of going, I haven't seen anybody scrub the leap like that. It was wild.
Yeah.
I watched it and I was like, holy, it's a legitimate, everybody else is stretching and he is scrubbing.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very
So
interesting.
we've got a bright future with that kid. But that's been your 450 race recap brought to you by our friends at Gutter Worx. Link in the description down below if you're in the Southwest Michigan area. Have them help you out with some seamless gutters, some beautiful exterior modifications to your property. They're your people. There are people. If me and Justin ever buy a house, calling Gutter Worx. Getting some fresh shit. So, all right. So let's since we're already gone through the 450s here, let's just so the first thing I want to talk about is Eli Tomac's deal for next year, okay? This has been brought up. The guys over at Dirt Bike Lovers kind of broke this in a sense, and I've kind of been trying to people who have been talking about it, I've been trying to lead them down because we have some inside information through some people that we know. We basically have gotten direct information from the lawyers that wrote the fucking contract for his deal.
Yeah.
So, from what we know from that, which it's hard to get any more to the source than the lawyer that wrote the contract.
Yep.
Tomac is doing a 1-year SX-only deal with a second-year option here, which the second-year option doesn't even surprise me because from what I've understood since last year when he got on Star, was his contract at Star was open-ended as long as he wanted to race. So Eli Tomac will be coming back for 2024 Supercross, guaranteed. Possibility of 2025, but that's up to him. Now, I really honestly think if he comes in next year and he wins that title, which I think will be tough, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
That's just my initial thought here. I think that's going to be tough, and I'm not saying it can't be done, but whatever. Anyway, I think then he'll retire.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is he's going to do the Supercross. I think that more than likely he's probably going to have so many points it won't fucking matter. Mm-hmm. And he's going to do SMX, and then I agree. I think he's going to retire. I don't think he wanted to go out that way, which nobody wants to go out getting hurt, especially because he fucking had that championship in the bag, and it wasn't even a question. And I do, and we've talked about this, Eli, I think, was laying up a lot at the end of that year.
Yeah.
I think there were times where I'm like, yeah, Eli definitely could have won, and he just didn't. So I think that, and we talked about this, and I made this mention with Jett coming in, it's a new challenge for Eli that Eli hasn't had in a while, just like with Chase last year outdoors.
Yeah.
I think it gives him motivation. It's just all going to be how well is he going to be able to recover from that Achilles tendon, because he's not a kid anymore.
No.
Granted, dude's in better shape than 99.9% of the people walking the face of this earth.
His bad days are better than my best days.
His bad days are better than 10,000 people's best days. But it's one of those things is like the Achilles tendon is not something to fuck around with. It's ended a lot of athletes' careers, young athletes' careers. I think that it's going to be, I think going into next year for him, we're going to see the final version of Eli Tomac. And I don't mean in the sense because he's retiring. I think it's kind of like with Jett. Like, you have the levels to an athlete of when they start out, go through, like, this is the maturation process. Like, oh, this is the next.
That's a big word.
It's kind of like with, because I'm a big MMA guy, like, you get a new wrinkle into your game, like the next level. I think that Eli is watching what Jett's doing right now, whether he thought it could be done. Eli's never going to tell anybody, oh, yeah, I can't beat that dude. Like, that's just not who Eli is. He's too mentally strong. I think because, this is going to be, you can disagree with me, and a lot of people are probably going to get super pissed off at me, and this is not a shot at Chase. I think there was a lot of managing going on last year after he got that bike figured out.
Yep.
I think there was a lot of times because of the fact, outside of Unadilla, we saw when Eli wanted to go beast mode Eli, and he could flip that switch, and he could do just enough to win. We've seen it the last 2 years in Supercross. He's done just enough to win races, and then he's got a big gap, kind of like what Jett's doing right now.
Yep.
I think that he's looking at Jett right now, and he's going, I'm gonna annihilate this kid. I think that he's gonna have, whether he can do it or not, we don't know. But I think this is
We'll
giving.
argue about that a different day.
which is funny coming from me because I'm not an Eli Tomac guy. It's just one of those things that I just can't doubt Eli anymore. He literally defies he defies what is supposed to be done. I think this is a new level of motivation for him. And if he can recover, and that's the caveat, if he can recover from that Achilles tendon, I personally believe next year in Supercross will be the best Eli Tomac we've ever seen. And if I'm Jett's not thinking about that, but it's probably one of those things that's going, ooh, well, this is going to be an interesting season.
Here's a shocker thing for me, and I'm not going to say the number out loud here. I've posted it in some different places, so if you want to know, you can go track down some of those posts I put up. From what I understand, this deal is half of what Jett's getting paid. Which is weird.
I think Eli's made so much money in his career. I think that now it's just kind of one of those things, just checking things off the boxes.
Do you think he's getting paid more or less than Cooper Webb?
For this last season?
For next year?
I would say it probably pretty close. But once again, we went over this when we were driving back from Redwood. Think about how much money that dude made in 2022.
Yeah. I mean, the crazy thing is, though, is like, dude, he's getting half, and it's like he should have won that 450 Supercross title.
I just don't think he cares about the money anymore. Which actually, it's probably one of those things he might have not ever really cared, because that's not who Eli is.
Yeah.
But then you think about how much money's that dude made in bonuses and championships. You're like, he's fine.
He's good.
He's good.
He's great.
I'm excited for it, man. Well,
Yeah.
I'm just excited for it because I think Chase and Jett are going to be going at each other's throats for however many years. But I do believe that Eli, and I don't think this is something that you would disagree with me on, presents a different type of challenge for Jett than Chase Sexton does.
I think that Jett will be super excited to have to race Eli.
And I think Eli is actually going to be super excited because it's something different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, well, I'm at the end of my career. Can I beat the kid?
Yeah.
Like, it's a new level of, because he respects Jett. I mean, I feel like Eli probably respects a lot of people. But, he's probably looking at it and going, man, I haven't had a challenge like this since...
Nope.
I don't even remember the last time he had a challenge like this. Because no offense to Chase, once again, truly believe the last year, Eli's been managing things. Mm-hmm. And that's not a shot at Chase. Chase is...
Look, man, those bonus checks for those race wins still cash. So
oh, yeah.
Whatever. And he still cashed that title check this year. So
yeah.
whatever.
No, and once again, it's not taking anything away from Chase.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things you look at Eli and you go, yeah, it's hard to believe he's really pushing a lot of the time when he can just wick it up when he wants to and just go around everybody. So it's like, I'm excited for it, man. I am super excited already for next year because it's just going to be, very, very interesting.
Yep.
So,
all right. So let's talk about the Cooper Webb thing here. I did an emergency video as soon as it happened.
Yep, seen that.
I mean,
I was gonna text you because I was sitting there at work.
Yeah.
And then I have so many tabs open and I clicked on one of the tabs and all of a sudden it just popped up. Cooper Webb leaves KTM. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Trust me, it started popping up and then all of a sudden my phone started going crazy. I was like, what in the hell is happening? And then I started looking. I'm like, whoa. Okay. So I touched on all the different stuff. I talked about how they took his suspension away and how he's got this injury and all this crap like that, right? Did you see the interview with Ian Harrison yesterday too? Yeah. And we really danced that. Yeah, we just he wasn't supposed to ride the outdoors, and then
I like how they threw
it
was just a one last jab in there.
Yeah.
Like we scrambled and we weren't really prepared and he wasn't prepared and I'm like, Ian, why don't you just fucking say it?
Why don't you just say it? You guys have to sell the cone valves because it's a huge profit margin for you guys. The bike works better without cone valves. And you guys said, well, sorry, we can't do this. Because why would you ever do it like you do with everything else and just slap a label on it that says, hey, this has cone valves, even though it doesn't?
It's kind of like when people...
like 99% of the people won't know. People like us will know.
Back in the day, like people were riding Bridgestone tires and they put Dunlop stickers on.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, or you mean the Pro Taper bars with the Renthal bar pads on them and stuff? Yeah. So, I mean, look, here's the thing. Like,
I guess we weren't crazy. Man, it's weird how sometimes we're actually right about things, guys.
We're really weird.
We're just dumbasses.
Do you want to hear the TLR tinfoil hat conspiracy? The TLR tinfoil hat conspiracy is Webb signing his Yamaha deal got leaked to Cooksey so he could get out of his KTM deal early.
Here's my real question,
and that might not be
no, it might not be far off.
Because this all happened real quick here.
Here's my question to you.
Yeah.
Because we know he's not going to see him outdoors. Like
sure?
Do you think he's going to?
I talked about this in the video here. So here's the thing, and I've been talking to like Cooksey and Johnny and Coach here. My big thing is like if the split was literally just, we're not going to pay you anymore. You go this way. We'll go this way. We're wiping our hands. We're all good. He's not under contract then. And we all
do you
know,
think he wants to ride outdoors, though? Because where I was going with that is I feel like he is getting a jump on SMX testing right now. I feel like that matters more to him.
But here's the thing. Here is the only reason I think he would come back to outdoors, and that is because if he can manage to to pull down first or second place there to hold that down for the overall points
Chase
here,
now since past him by quite a bit.
then it handles. Then he starts with a leg up, and I think honestly, Webb's smart enough to know that he needs that with Jett, especially. Like he needs it with both of them, but he really needs it with Jett.
Yeah.
So I think, dude, I think there's a high probability if KTM's not paying him anymore, we see him on the last 3 at least. I said Millville initially. I was like, I mean, we could see him there. I'm not sure it'll be that fast. Let's put it this way. He's riding a Yamaha already.
Because I just thought, I was like, yeah, he'll be in for SMX. That'll be the first time. We'll see him at ZMAX. That'll be the first time. It never really crossed my mind that he would be wanting to ride outdoors because we know that he didn't want to ride outdoors at all this year.
He didn't want to.
He wanted to go do WSX.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You want to bet he rides that too?
Well, the next round's September 30th.
You want to bet he rides that too?
Well, I think he'll ride it, but I don't think he'll be at the rounds before SMX because there's only one round before it, right? It's the one on the 30th. I don't know if he'll be at that one.
What day is the SMX race?
The first one's on September 9th.
No, what's the last one?
23rd.
You don't think he goes from the SMX race right over to freaking, where are we going, Abu Dhabi or whatever?
Well, they have one on the 30th, and I can't remember which one that is.
Yeah, which would be a week after the SMX shit's over. So he could literally ride last 3 outdoors, which again, I wouldn't be surprised. I've been arguing with people on Facebook about this because it's like, I'm like, dude, if his contract's wiped, I don't. And here's the other thing. Bobby Regan doesn't give a shit. He doesn't play by the rules. We all know this.
It also does come to the fact, though, or also does come down to, and somebody even mentioned this in the comment, and shout out to them for actually getting this right. You can only be a wild card so many times, though.
That is true.
So he might do one, but he can only do so many before
you don't think there might not be an injury all of a sudden on one of those teams?
Who are they going to pay? They're going to have to pay him. Some of those guys aren't.
How much do you think they're going to have to pay, like a Grant Harlan not to ride the SMX rounds or the WSX rounds?
Here's the thing: I will give credit.
I will put my TLR tinfoil hat on this because
I will give credit to Adam Bailey. I feel like he doesn't do business that way.
I bet you somebody gets hurt,
maybe
whatever.
I just feel like he doesn't do business that way. I feel like he's got a reputation of doing business the right way. And that's shady, in my opinion.
Is it though? Because he was supposed to ride that. I believe there's money. I believe there was money earmarked for him, much like there's money like Kenny.
I'd like to see it. I really would, but it's
not going to shock me at all.
Maybe.
There's going to be either. Well, I mean, this is weird, but he's on 250, isn't he?
Who's that?
Michael Lessie.
Yeah.
So that's out. We lose anybody in 450s for that race? I can't think of it.
In Birmingham?
Yeah. I don't think we did.
Probably one of the French dudes.
But, dude,
maybe.
I'm honestly.
I mean, I hope so. Cause
I'm 90%. He runs those last 5 rounds of that too.
Maybe. I mean, it'd be interesting. Like, would it put?
I mean, let's face it. He's gonna be right. He's gonna be riding Supercross anyway at that point. So what better way to test than to go race? And guaranteed, there's a boatload of money. I mean, we all think Kenny's getting what, $3 million over 3 years?
2.5, $3 million.
Yeah, over 3 years. There's no way Coop's getting any less than that to go ride.
Which I think is absolutely stupid, in my opinion.
I don't know,
man. To pay
man.
them that much money.
So what happens when you're building, man. You got to spend money to make money.
Oh, yeah, of course. But I would not pay them that much money.
So, yeah. So, like I said, it would not. Number one, I'm 50-50. I'll go with 51-49 even. I'm 51-49 that he shows up to the last 3 outdoors strictly to grab points and to really race test that blue crew.
Yeah.
Which that is going to be a super interesting look.
Outdoors? Oh, just for it to happen?
The fact that he shows up on a different brand 4 weeks later.
I mean, even though it's not in the middle of the season, you got to go back to Stu, though, in 2012.
Don't get me wrong. We all know this is the thing. We all knew he was. This is like,
dude, everybody tests other people's bikes all the time. Shit's going wrong.
this is like the Sexton going to KTM thing. We all knew it. The average people don't, though. So, like, when he shows up on that, there's going to be people at these races going, "What the hell?"
Yeah, especially if there's a broken relationship there. Like, dude, he's tested that.
No, dude, it's fine. Didn't you see that interview with Ian Harrison?
Whatever.
It's fine.
Yeah, dude.
No one was ready.
I trust Ian as much as I trust Roger.
Dude,
Here's actually something that I don't think enough people, and once again, this is more of like a gossip thing, but whatever. How weird do you think the team dynamic's going to be between him and Eli in that rig?
That's going to be interesting. I don't think so. I think they're both of an age that they have respect for each other.
And
so
there's
it's not
just J Coop on the other end, just kind of going, "Hi guys, can you talk to me, please?"
I don't know. His deal is going to be interesting too.
He's going to be on that 450, but he's going to be making a lot less money. We've said this a million
so he's
times.
number 3 450 guy on Star.
Yeah,
weird.
He's going to be making a lot less money. I mean, dude, where else is he going to go?
What do you think his bonus structure is going to be? Is it going to be top 10? Because if it is, he's going to make a shit ton of money.
It's got to be top 10.
You would think
It's got to
so.
be top 10.
If it's not, he needs to call Myrtle and get
How weird? I think it's just going to be a weird thing though, because like you go from two guys that literally up until this last year have been going at it for how many years in Supercross, and now they're all of a sudden teammates.
I don't think so though. I think there's
I don't think there's any hatred.
I think there's too much respect there.
But I don't think there's gonna be a lot of talking.
Well,
I don't think there's gonna be a lot of talking.
Neither one of
Coop's a fucking dickhead. And he's gonna want to beat you.
Say neither one of them are talkers on race day anyway.
Yeah.
Eli goes
Coop's
straight
just a
to the
dick,
bus
though.
and back, and Coop's a dick. So, but it's fine. Coop will be in the truck, and Eli's going to be in
like
the
I
bus.
said, J Coop's going to be at the other end of the semi, going,
Hey.
can you talk, please? Can someone talk to me?"
Yeah. So
no, really weird. Very interesting. Like I said, the last time you see something like this, even though it wasn't in the middle of a season, it was a transition over. Was Stu back in 2012 when he went from Yamaha to Suzuki?
yeah, but he didn't ride that. He didn't ride that bike publicly until the end of the year.
No,
right?
but it was one of those things that he literally did one discipline on a bike and then went to another bike for another discipline.
Oh, he rode Supercross on the Blue Crew and then rode the Suzuki Outdoors?
2012 was up and down.
This was right before I started.
So
2013 was my first year.
So like he didn't do a lot of Supercross that year, but he was on Yamaha.
Yeah, because that was
and
the
went to
Sam Manuel
Suzuki.
Yamaha.
Yeah, it was the last year of that
he kept
shit
crashing
show.
on. Yeah,
BK kept knocking himself out.
Yeah, because that last time he crashed,
But
and
he
he
ended
was
up
retired.
Yeah, he went from a Yamaha to a Suzuki.
Yeah.
So was it in the middle of a season? But that was the last time something like super weird like this has happened.
I mean, that would still be weird to see
But
today.
granted, when you make a couple million more dollars on Suzuki, what are you gonna do?
Dude, I don't know, man.
He got paid a whole lot of money to go from Yamaha to Suzuki.
I'll tell you what. Even if he doesn't ride any of the outdoors, he just shows up for the SMX stuff. The SMX stuff. It's still not a great look.
I personally think if he shows up for the outdoor rounds, even though he's not going to be super motivated, it goes pretty bad. But I think he's going to be pretty good in Supercross on the Yamaha.
Yeah,
I really do.
We'll see, man.
I do.
We'll see. I'll tell you what. It's been interesting this week with that whole situation.
The whole Star group has just been interesting for the last week. Because like so much shit's been coming about him, which is weird. Because if you think about it in the history of Star, Bobby Regan and Brad Hoffman have kept a real tight leash on this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And even though the KTM thing doesn't they had nothing to do with it, but it links to them because it's like the guy's going to your team. Yeah. So like outside of in what was it 2016 when J Mart and A Mart had bike malfunctions.
Had bike malfunctions
And they were outside the rig.
out of a tent out the back.
It's not really something that Star is like. Star doesn't normally get caught up in this kind of drama.
No.
Well, maybe they should.
Oh my God! Did you see the Snapchat Jett took last week? Him and Chase on the same flight going back. And he was like, "We ride together and we fly together."
Yeah, I guess it was like super awkward though, because
probably
Chase was just kind of.
Well, Chase was sleeping.
Yeah, so that's fucking weird. Yeah, whatever, Jett.
So it was super interesting too yesterday when they showed the ice bass that they were all next to each other because I didn't think that would be a thing.
Yeah.
So that's maybe there's not as much animosity there as we
I don't think that they hate each other. And I said Wyman and we were talking about this. I don't think they hate each other. Because I think Jett hate's a very strong thing. I think Jett because he's just kind of and Chase Kier would slap the shit out of him if he ever did some shit like that. I don't think they hate each other. I think there's a healthy level of respect for each other. I think it's just one of those things that they're not social with each other.
Yeah,
like they
not.
just have to do the bare minimum. Because, like I said, I don't think a lot of these dudes. That's like '90s things. I don't think a lot of these dudes hate each other. I think it's just we're not conversing a lot.
Yeah, probably.
It's not like Chase would tee off on Jett's front end or vice versa if given the chance. Would they run him wide? Yeah, but that's racing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think there's ever been a hatred. I think it's just these guys probably don't talk too much. That's just why I always laugh when like there's videos of them at the test track like preseason. I was like, you guys are trying to make this out like they're all buddy-buddy.
The team made them all be there at the same time.
I'm like, the team literally
Team's
told
like,
them.
hey, we're testing from this time.
And then after that film went off, Chase went this way, Jett went this way.
Something like that. So who knows? Maybe Jett went that way too. Like, hey, bud, let's hang out.
Hey, and Chase is like, what?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, can I get some donuts?
Yeah. All right. Let's just jump into the 250 race recap here.
Are we gonna get cut off halfway in?
I don't know. Hopefully not.
Actually, let's go to our rants because I feel like if Kev calls or whatever, we can.
My rant kind of goes in with the 250 class, so I can't rant right now.
Okay, well then I mine kind of does, but kind of doesn't.
Okay. Holster Co. Reload Rant. Make sure to check them out for all your things that go boom boom and bang bang.
Bang,
they
bang,
just
and
got a
beep,
new
beep.
shop location.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Okay.
anyway, go ahead.
So this has nothing to do with the broadcast.
Link in the description down below.
Has nothing to happen to the industry. Has something to do with.
Am I going to get wound up about this?
No, I feel like you're gonna.
Because I'm feeling dangerous.
Well, this actually has to do with a Hayden Deegan thing.
Oh boy.
So,
Boy.
so it's something that has been talked about before because
Mm-hmm.
it's just one of those things. We've talked about it, but not at length. And this kind of goes with some comments that were made after my comment about Hayden last week going 2-3 for the overall. And I was like, when I said Levi walked him and then, Tom got around him with 2 or 3 laps to go. And I know you saw this. Everybody in the comments were like, well, yeah, like when Levi went around him the first, the second lap or first lap it was,
He was
and
managing.
He didn't need to beat Levi, and then he let Tom by, and everybody's like, oh, he was managing because he needed to get the overall. I'm not gonna say educate because that's real condescending.
He said it. He said it.
Okay, let me educate you guys a little bit.
Educate.
And just follow me because I feel like you agree with me
I'm
on
gonna
this.
get crucified for my actions right now.
Overall, look, it's a great thing. It's a check mark in the kid's first overall as a professional. It's a check mark. It's something you're gonna look back on. It's
He didn't
great.
ghost ride. It doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't ghost ride like your dad did, you old bitch. It's yeah.
Oh my god.
It's
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's a check mark.
Oh my
and
god.
Is getting
Okay.
get
All
over
right.
the overall
All
great.
right.
What?
I'm just gonna mark this here.
Okay.
That's gonna be literally our shot before the intro goes.
Okay. So it's great. Yes, it is awesome that he got the overall. Everybody wants one. But let me put this in perspective for you guys. That second moto, maybe Duffy didn't tell him that necessarily Hunter was.
Did you just call him Duffy?
I always call him Brent Duffy.
His name is Duff.
Yeah, that's not how it's spelled. So I don't really give a damn.
Please use the proper name because Duffy sounds
Not gonna.
not great.
Not gonna.
Like a flag that we're not going to talk about.
Don't care.
Duff.
So Brent.
Okay, cool. You can use the
Brent.
first name.
Brent may have not
I
told
don't know
him.
why you can't just call him Duff like everybody else.
Brent. Because I always know him as Jason or Justin Brayton's mechanic. I'll never know him as Hayden Deegan's
Yeah,
mechanic.
and Brayton calls him Duff also.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
No
Brent.
one calls him Duffy.
Brent.
You sound like an idiot.
Brent. Don't care. Brent.
We'll probably fist fight about this later.
Honestly, don't care what people think about me. Brent. So maybe Brent didn't tell him Hunter was necessarily out, but obviously Hayden has eyes and he's looking around. Where's Hunter at? Mm-hmm. Do you think Hayden would have rather gotten 25 points, 22 points, or 20 points? Or do you think he was thinking about, yeah, man, I got the overall? No, guys. He wants to get as many points as possible going into Southwick. Everybody that said, oh, he was just thinking about the overall. He's thinking about the overall. Do you really think that kid, because we like to give him all this kind of credit for being beyond his years, kind of like a Jett thing, he's getting better, trying to do this, trying to do that? Guys, when you can make up as many points as possible on the guy you're battling for a championship with, especially knowing that guy's out, you're not going to take the overall over getting points. Do you really think he wanted Levi to walk away from him? No. If he could have beat Levi, he would have. Do you really think he wanted to give another 2 points up to Tom? No. He didn't care about the overall. You want to get points. Everybody's always on this big kick about getting an overall. Yes, it's great, whether you do it by just going 1-1 and you're faster than everybody, or consistency, 2-2, 2-1, whatever. Doesn't matter. What do you think you would have rather had going in now that he's got, and we're kind of jumping ahead, but the points lead by 5? Do you think you would have rather had 7 points up on Hunter or 10 going into Millville?
Mm-hmm.
You see my point? Everybody always talks about this overall thing. Guys, what happened last weekend at Redbud, it happened to him. He wasn't thinking about the overall. That kid wanted to get as many points as possible. The overall doesn't mean shit in the grand scheme of things of points. So everybody just wanted he was managing. He didn't need to beat Levi. He was thinking about the overall. No,
He
man.
was, no one, to be honest, outside of those morons saying that, no one thought he could beat Levi last
And that's
week.
what I'm saying. Everybody's like,
Levi
oh,
was gone, dude.
Everybody just likes to go, oh, the overall over the alt. Dude, like I said, whether it was Duff saying Hunter was out or him just looking around not seeing Hunter, dude, that kid was not thinking about the overall. He's like, I want to get as many points as possible.
I will give them the Vial thing at the end.
I won't.
I will give them that one.
No, I won't.
But the Levi thing, he wasn't touching.
Yeah, I won't give him the VL thing either because what would you rather have, 20 or 22 points? You'd rather have 22 points.
Well, I mean, I understand that, but there is a point too of like, what was he gonna do because Vial was coming through.
No. People are saying in our comments that he let VL by.
Well, okay, that's something that I just would try to clarify with them.
Yeah.
And this is me trying to be as middle of the road as I possibly can be here. Because, okay, did he just pull over and be like, yeah, sure, man, go ahead? Or are we talking about let him by like we didn't ride S-curves down the straightaways? Yeah. Because, yes, he didn't ride S-curves down the straightaways. Was he really trying to let Vial by? No, he wasn't pulling over and going, yeah, man, go right ahead. It's fine. I don't need that.
Because that's what some of the Deegan fans in our comments are claiming. They're like, oh, yeah, man, like you knew we didn't have to beat him for the overall. That's my rant.
They're nuts everywhere.
Yeah, I know. That's my rant is the overall is great, guys. It's a great accomplishment for him. It's his first one. And is it going to be something he's going to look back on? Of course. Same thing when he gets his first Supercross win. But points matter. And like I said, do you really think you would rather have 5, 7, or 10 points on Hunter? Now, granted, nobody knew Hunter's bike was going to blow up. 5, 7, or 10. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd much rather have 10. I'd much rather have as many points as possible. So the overall is cool. Points mean more. That was my rant. I know it's not a big rant, but it's just something I've been seeing lately because even people have been talking about it in some of the websites. They're like, overalls. Dude, that's great if you're the points leader and you won a moto or you went 1-2 or 2-1. When you're trying to stack as many points on your championship rival, dude, you want all the points you can get.
I will go over my rant here now, too, because it works into somewhat the same as yours, which are all the amazing people commenting of how big of a moron we are about saying he was going to go somewhere in the 6 to 12 range. Yeah. His dad, straight from the horse's mouth.
I seen this.
5 to 10.
Yeah, I seen this.
5 to 10. Brian Deegan, his dad, said that we expected him to go 5 to 10.
So we did.
We were 6 to 12.
So we're really off.
So we're way off.
God, we fucking
The guy
suck.
who's at the track with him every fucking day said, so please comment below at how fucking stupid we are.
Yeah.
Because when I heard that, when I was listening to Pulp last week, I went,
we called
I'm done.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus, take the wheel. Because we literally were right in the same ballpark that his dad freaking said.
Yeah, and I can guarantee even you ask him what he thought a win was going to come the rookie season, and they'd be like, yeah, it'd have been cool, but probably not.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not. So, I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things I'm like, dude, and we go over it all the time. We're going to go over it when we go over the review. Like, some of you guys just... You're too over the top, man. You're too over the top.
It's so much as far as like just coming after us about everything we say about him.
It's exhausting.
And there is one guy on there that's super middle of the road, which is great because he's like, look, you guys haven't said anything outlandish about the kid. You literally have just tampered your expectations and then been like, yeah, he's doing way better than we thought.
He is.
And the
kid is doing great.
Yeah, and the guy's like, and I'm a Deegan fan.
He's a fucking points leader right now. Yeah. He's a points leader. Of course the kid's doing great.
Ridiculous.
But it's like, Jesus, dude. It's like, guys, he's not Jett Lawrence. Like, calm down. I understand you love the kid, and that is great to have.
And he's doing...
That's great to have a fan of somebody.
Hold on. Here come the comments of, no, he's better than Jett.
Yeah, he's never going to be better than Jett. Sorry, guys. Never going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see. Whatever, dude. So anyway, Holster Co. Reload Rants there. Make sure to check them out, holsterco.com or something like, I don't know, links in the description. I don't know the website. So, all right, let's jump into our 250 race recap here before we get to Kev. 250 race recap brought to you by our friends at Adept Creative Co. Was just talking to Eric today. Hooked me up with a phone number that I can't use, so that's cool.
Thanks, Eric Grandal.
So anyway, make sure to check them out at Adept Creative Co. for all of your graphics needs. I have them over there on the 450.
I hope somebody comments and goes, whose phone number?
Yeah.
Or why can't you use it?
Well, you know, it's such a weird thing because I don't know.
It's moto, man. It's the moto industry.
Yeah, the moto industry's strange, and people are really hesitant about stuff where I'm just like, oh, you want his phone number? Here you go. Tell him I sent you.
Yeah, like who gives a shit? Like really? Like in the end, no, whatever. I get,
know,
you know,
whatever.
Eric, I get it.
I
if
love
you watch this. I get
Eric's,
it.
Eric's a great guy.
Eric's a great
Every time I
fucking
text
dude.
him to talk, he's fine.
And it's not like we
ask him for
don't
something, he helps me,
understand.
So
it's not
yeah,
like we don't understand why.
I get it.
Yes.
So it's just like whatever. But yeah, it was just funny. Like, here, don't tell him I gave you this. Oh shit. All right,
Who
cool.
did I get
man.
it from? Chris Cooksey?
yeah. Cooksey gave it to me.
Cooksey gave it to me.
So anyway, okay, cool. So well, Vial goes 1-3 for first overall.
Mm-hmm.
And this was kind of the Tom Vial I think we all thought was going to show up at the beginning. Well, everybody except for the Deegan people. This is what we thought was going to show up at the beginning of the year. Does he do the same situation next week? Like,
I think
is he this good going forward?
I think this is a confidence boost for him. Like we've been talking about it a lot. New format, not as much time.
Here's
like
what I'll tell you: those fucking starts.
Dude, that second moto, that was an Alessi. Like I'm sitting there watching it, and all of a sudden he goes, and I'm like,
he was a bike length ahead as everybody else was getting over the gate.
I'm like, dude, did you like? Because
these are the Tom Vial starts we thought we
this
were
is
going
the
to see
GP
all
Tom
year.
Bell. This is the guy that got 95% of the starts in 2021.
Yeah.
Part of me, as a joke, like I knew this wasn't a thing, but part of me, as a joke, was thinking, did you pay the doghouse guy?
Or is this like an Eli Tomac thing?
like,
You
how-
could hear them do
I'm
it
like,
before
how
the
in the
gate dropped?
hell? Like, how in the hell did you get it
that
jumped that well?
second start was amazing.
I was like, holy shit.
Full Mike Alessi.
Yeah. So, you know, the funny thing about that is everybody talks about like the GP guys when they come over, like sand, like especially Tom, like growing up in Holland, like riding Belgium, whatever.
Yeah.
Thing though is like Tom is a good sand guy. Don't get me wrong. He's had good rides at Sardinia, Lommel, Volkenswaard, Kegums, but like as a sand guy, he hasn't like been outright fast. Like Garrett's has smoked him in the sand.
He's not a sand surfer.
He's not a sand, like, dude, he's from northern France.
Yeah.
Like, he's a hard-packed, blue-groove concrete guy. Like, Garrett's has yarded him. Maxime Renault yarded him. Like, Rowan van der Moosdijk. Like, like, he's not a sand specialist. The biggest thing I was thinking going into this weekend is because it's, like, we has no since in the last 5 to 7 years has gotten a harder base. He's used to riding bottomless sand. I was like, is he going to have a hard time setting his bike up? Because this is not like sand not that he's ever not ridden hard-pack sand. Like I said, he's used to riding bottomless sand. So I was like, maybe he's going to have a hard time setting his bike up. Like, maybe this weekend, because I was thinking I'd have been happy with a top 5 and, like, cracking the top 3. When he came out in practice, I was like, okay, this is like a little bit of Redbud coming out saucy. And then when him and Jay Coop went 1-2 off the line in the first one, I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go.
Feeling dangerous.
Oh, feeling dangerous. Did he get handed to him? Yeah, Jay Coop, knifed front. He was closing on him. Would he have passed him? Don't know.
I don't know. He was closing.
He
man.
was closing.
It's a 50-50 toss-up in my mind.
And honestly, I think what happened that second moto is got the start, led some laps. Because even when, like, Jay Coop got back up, because it's not like he fucking tucked it and, like, yarded his shit. Like, Tom would just kept pulling away from him. And that
yeah.
I was like, I honestly believe what happened that second moto is Joe was hounding him. And he just knew. He's like, hey, man, I'm going to blow myself out. Like, Joe wants this. I'm not faster than him. He let him go. He's like, I'm going to conserve some energy. Like, it was hovering around, like, 3.8, 4.8. Like, went back and forth. Got to 5, and he's probably like, look, Jay Coop, and we'll talk about him, was doing Jay Coop 2021 things. He was just fucking on one. Like, dude, he was going so fast. And then when Jay Coop went down, he's like, all right, one last push. Didn't have it. And he just conserved energy, which was good because fucking RJ was doing RJ things at the end of that moto. Like, Jesus, dude. So, great day, confidence boost. And yeah, I think this is the Tom that I was hyping up so much. He's only going to get better. And this is the Tom Vial that I expect. And I think this is going to be a huge confidence boost because now he's led laps. And I remember I said this about Tom. Tom is a huge confidence guy. You give that kid confidence, sky's the limit. I think he's going to keep going forward, and I think we get to Washougal and Unadilla, which is a way more his style. He's going to be aces. Millville, who knows? Millville's weird for some guys with just the base and whatever. But yeah, I think this is going to be the Tom Vial we all expected him to be. Was he the fastest guy? No. Probably second, third. I think Jay Coop ultimately was the fastest dude all day.
Yeah.
But this is the guy I think we're going to see, and I think we all can kind of think that because, dude, he's been on one since Redbud, like first practice. He's been on one. So it was awesome. Got his first one, 1-3 overall. You could tell he was happy about it. And I'm glad it finally came out that they talked about, he was getting a little frustrated. Like, he was getting a little frustrated. This is not how he thought outdoors was going to go. This is what he got paid to come over for. And I'm glad there was just some transparency. Like, yeah, he's pissed because this is not where he thought he would be. Confidence boost, like I said. This is what I expect going forward. So,
Yeah, no,
great day.
That was a great ride for him, man. And man,
But them
those
fucking
starts,
dude.
oh,
And that's the
God.
thing, man. If he keeps
So
going with
good.
those starts,
Yeah.
it's going to be – because here's the thing. Tom doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So it could be one of those things that he's just not the fastest guy, but he's just
He just gets
consistent all the
starts,
way
yeah.
through. And it's like Stu said, Tom's just kind of there. Like, he's just racing forward the whole moto. And it's very true. It's what he did
Yeah.
winning 2 championships. If he was the fastest dude, take it. If he wasn't, dude, he's just going to put in laps, and that's just where he's going to be. So maybe we do the rest of these rounds to get starts, and maybe
Yep.
he's the 3rd fastest guy, but you just can't track him down because he's not making mistakes. So, yeah, man. His line selection was good. He was doing that slick little thing where, like, doubling over that little,
Yeah.
like, it wasn't really like a tabletop, but down to the, because Jett was the only other person I saw do that.
Yep.
I'm like, that's just their style.
Yeah.
So he was doing something. I know he was conserving energy there. So, yeah, great day for him.
It was super good.
Awesome.
Justin Cooper goes 2-2 for second.
Fastest dude, right?
Yeah.
Like, can we
Yeah.
agree? Like, that second moto dude, he was on one.
Yep.
He was going to pass Joe.
Yeah.
Like, this is the J Coop that we,
Thought was going to show up all year.
like, I just,
I don't know where it came from.
yeah. And but also he did typical J Coop things and
Yeah.
tucked the front. You got to think in his mind, he's not super happy about it because in his mind, he probably should have went 1-1 with his speed yesterday. But hey, man, after what happened to Hunter, dude, I know it's a lot, but he's kind of back in the points chase a little
Points.
bit.
The points are wide open. How about
he's-
no? Points wide open.
He's a lot. He's 20 plus down, but still, like in this class,
Yeah.
that's close.
Yep.
At this point. So it's good to see the J Coop that we all thought should have showed up. He didn't get the win. Whatever, not good. But the speed, dude, that speed was crazy yesterday in
So
the second
good.
moto. Because, like, dude, there was,
So good.
what, 15 minutes him and RJ were going back and forth, and all of a sudden he just, like, found an extra gear and just left him. I'm
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
Yep.
And then you're watching the lap times, you're like, 5 seconds, 3 seconds. Oh, he's around Tom. Oh, now he's catching Joe. I'm like, is he going to win this fucking moto?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, he did J Coop things. But this it's got to be frustrating, but it's also got to be a confidence boost for him to know that he should have went 1-1 pretty easily yesterday.
Yep. So Joe Shimoda goes 6-1 for third.
Another thing, though, right? Confidence kind of was just irrelevant the second or the first moto. And
they said that he lacks a lot of confidence.
But
It's
do you
just
think this is-
it's confidence in that bike?
oh, it is. We know that he's not.
I want
it's-
to try to talk to him and AC. They're here in Michigan.
oh yeah, hanging out with.
Yeah, they're at
Nick.
Wade's
Yeah.
place. Yeah.
Probably fucking riding to some of Stanton's places that he takes people.
Yeah, maybe.
Good for. I mean,
That was a great race for him.
oh, it was
That second one.
And once again, we know he's not happy with that bike. It probably scares the shit out of him a little bit. Confidence though, because we
Yeah.
all said Joe gets a start, Joe can win. Yeah, this is. I think this is going to be interesting for the rest of the year because now he got one. Now he got a win.
We'll see.
The first moto, he was just kind of there, couldn't work his way through, and I think it's just one of those things with him. If the speed's there to march forward, it's there. If it's not, he's not gonna risk landing
No.
on his fucking head after what happened in preseason.
Yeah, no way.
So good because it's just more parity, dude. It's more dudes that can win.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's fair to say I expect this, but I kind of expect this now. He's got the confidence. He should have been winning all along. And once again, it's kind of like with Tom. After last year, he's not really a guy I want to give that confidence boost because he could just start reeling shit off. Mm-hmm. So,
Yep. So RJ goes 3-4 for fourth.
rode the second moto with no goggles.
He forgot how to ride sand in practice. Apparently,
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Like
dude.
when I looked,
this is total RJ crap.
dude, I just don't understand. He's like a riddle wrapped in a
I
conundrum.
love this
wrapped in
guy
a-
because like you just never know, and they talk about it on the pulp stuff all the time. Of like, if we could have like they do with Formula One,
Yeah.
where you have like the helmet cams, and you could just purchase guys you want to watch.
You just see this the whole time.
Like, dude, like RJ is one that, yeah, give me that all day long because I just want to see this entire race beginning to end.
Can we start? Can we get this like get this going? Start calling him the Terminator.
He's just.
Can we get this nickname go? People roll with this. God, dude, he's the Terminator.
I just don't understand, man.
The one
is
thing I will
so
say-
fast, but
He does not give up. Like, dude,
Yeah, but man,
just-
it's just. Oh God, I don't know.
I don't think you're ever going to be able to figure it. Kind of like the same thing we say about Jett, like really never know. I don't think you're ever going to be able to figure out RJ. You know the wild thing is, I went back and because we always talk about his style, like fucking shoulders drop, bars rolled back, just fucking
Roll him in the lap, baby.
burying it, just all over the place. Dude, you go back to his Geico days, he never rode like this. So I don't know where all of a sudden his technique started changing.
Alden's.
It kills everyone. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just kind of doing RJ things like blazing speed. It's just, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know what to say about RJ anymore because I really thought after how he finally put Supercross together and wasn't doing RJ things for the most part, he was going to be able to figure this out in outdoors. And it's not like he doesn't have the speed to win. Like we know if you look at his lap times, he's already won a moto. He checked out on everybody at the beginning of the year. I just don't know what he's doing half the time. I don't understand how you can be that fast but not know how to tame that speed just enough to win. Like, we all know there's been guys, Stu for perfect example, that sometimes it was just checkers or wreckers. But he finally figured out how to tame the speed, though. RJ's been doing this for a long time now.
Yeah.
And it's not like he hasn't worked with mental coaches before. I don't understand how he has not figured out to tone it back 5%. Because
I
here's the
don't get
thing,
it either.
I fully believe if he was able to tone it back 5%, he would have won a championship by now.
Probably.
Like you can't be that fast.
No.
I don't know, man.
I don't know either, man. It's a weird thing. Because, man, he's so fast.
And he never gives up, man. He never gives
at
up.
all. Like,
Dude,
he digs.
You want to talk about a kid with cardio? That kid don't ever get
Digs
tired.
for 35 minutes.
And if he is getting tired, he definitely doesn't let you show. He definitely doesn't show it.
Nope.
Like I said, he rode the last 4 laps with no goggles.
Yeah.
Last place I want to ride with no goggles.
Yeah, and right behind somebody.
Yeah, right behind somebody. Like holy shit.
All right, so Seth Hamaker goes 7.5 for 5th. Not bad.
Dude, think about if he's healthy.
Not bad.
This is what I keep talking about with Seth. Like, if he's healthy,
He's got to stay healthy, man.
He's got to stay healthy. He's got to stay healthy.
We can shoulda, woulda, coulda all the time. If Kenny doesn't fuck up his arm,
I
he
know.
probably wins 14 championships by now. But yeah, no, he's good. He did fade that first moto though. Like he looked real good, and then things started happening real quick.
But then you
for
look
him.
at the second moto though, and it's
second
like,
moto was good.
And this is what I like about Seth, and it kind of is because of the area that he grew up in, Pennsylvania, obviously factory workers. It's kind of like a thing. You know, not a flashy style, doesn't scrub the shit out of everything. He's not throwing it out. He's not hanging off the bike and just revving the piss out of it. Doesn't have this crazy good technique. Doesn't have this outright, like, one-lap heater speed. He just bulldogs his way through. And this is what I talk about with Seth, why I'm so high on this kid. Once again, he's got to be able to do it. Can stay healthy. He is a title threat, guys, because when this kid is healthy, he's always there. It's just...
He's got to stay healthy.
He's got to stay healthy, man. But it's got to be one of the. It's got to be reassuring to him though, because I think as many times as he's been hurt, especially with the fact he had EBV, it's probably creeped into his mind sometimes. Like, man, like am I as good as I think I am? And then when he does this, he's like, oh yeah, I am as good as I think I am.
Yep. So, all right, here we go. Your Isaac Nelson Designs Deegan Danger Zone section here. Hayden Deegan goes 410 for 6th overall.
Probably easily his roughest day yet.
I will tell you what, the first half of that first moto, I was watching that going,
what the hell's happening?
this ain't going to be good because he doesn't know how to ride sand.
And it's one of those things, too, and I don't want anybody to jump in, like, it's first time to the wick. It's not his first time to the wick.
It's not his first time to the wick, but that first half of that first moto, he, I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was brain fading or something. It didn't look like he knew how to ride sand.
I honestly think it was one of those things that happens to people when the wick. I think it's just he was trying to figure out how to connect the track. Because you could tell he was searching. He's going inside, and then he's fading to the outside, and then he's going outside and pushing across to the inside. And he's like, I'm going to go outside. And then it's one of those things you go inside to outside.
Yeah.
So I think he was just trying to connect to the track, and then he got it figured out.
I was going to say, let's point it out. Halfway through that first moto, he figured it out, and he started clicking dudes off, and that was how he got to...
fourth.
Yeah, fourth
but
there.
We know part of that. But anyways.
Which would have been 5th, but whatever.
But
anyway.
I mean, dude, he figured it out. But then the second moto, though, and he went down, knifed the front, not a big deal.
Yeah, second moto he went down. To be honest, they said it was really
humid,
muggy, and hot there. So, as good a shape as he's in,
everybody was
it
spent
probably
yesterday.
Just beat him to death there the second moto.
I do find it funny, though. Okay, not funny. I do find it interesting, though, when they were interviewing him. Like, like he was like, we got the points lead now, red plate. Like, we're coming. Like, I'm like, dude, what do you mean? Like, all of a sudden now you're going to start clicking things. Dude, you're 100% all the time.
Dude, and that's fine. I mean, he's been riding great. He's
been riding
this.
awesome. He's the points leader. Granted, whatever. But, yeah, it just, it happens, man. You go to the WIC and you get a reality check that you're not as good as you thought sometimes. Not to say that he's not. That's not what it meant.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, I know.
More
Somebody's going to
comments.
misconstrue
Comment
that.
down below.
Somebody's going to misconstrue that.
tell
Like,
him
oh,
he's an
Hayden
idiot.
Deegan sucks. That's
Somebody
not what
cut
I meant.
that. Somebody cut that into
Yeah.
a short. Tag me in it.
Somebody's going to be like, oh, is he saying Hayden Deegan sucks? That's not what I'm saying, you jackasses. I'm saying it's
Oh,
just
boy.
one of those things you come in and you're like, you have this idea of you can ride sand.
Comment section is going to be lit this
God,
week.
I hope
with you.
so. I really want to break 200 comments.
I'll tell you what.
We're getting close every week.
They thought we were fist fighting last week. So.
Yeah. It's like, man, you know, the WIC will do that to you, especially now that over the years it's developed this hard base. The track gets really rounded as your acceleration bumps, then it's square, whatever. Great day, points leader.
How many rounds do you think he has that red plate for?
All of one.
You think next week's
he's
it?
losing it at Millville.
Okay.
He's losing it at Millville.
Okay.
Great for him though, you know.
To Hunter?
Well, I mean, Hunter's the closest, so it's got to be Hunter. RJ's like, what, 14 back?
15?
What, 14, 15?
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
I don't see him losing it to RJ.
Okay.
Hunter, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, he never, let's be real, he shouldn't have the points lead right now anyways.
Okay.
The next, what do we got, 5 rounds to go? 5 rounds, right? 5, yeah.
Yes.
5 rounds to go?
Yes.
Shit's wide open again.
Yep.
Shit is wide open. Like Hunter,
I mean, even somebody like Justin Cooper who missed High Point, all of a sudden
Hunter, Deegan, J. Coop, RJ are all...
It's kind of like they said. It's almost like a hard reset right
Yeah, it
back
is.
to the beginning of the year. Here.
It's a hard reset. Like we have 4 dudes right now that can easily win this. And here's the crazy thing is you have them in the points, but then you have Joe and Tom who now all of a sudden have a ton of confidence, could really fuck shit up and get in there and start getting wins. Dude, for a championship that we kind of all thought was over with, I fully believe this championship.
2 rounds ago, this title was
it was over.
done.
High Point, we were like, is Hunter going to wrap the title up before Jett does?
Yeah.
I fully believe this title goes all the way down to Iron Man now.
100%. Which
Because
is
here-
great because
yeah.
I've never been around a championship celebration, so
now-
this is going to be awesome.
Because now, because we know Hunter, not that he doesn't have the speed to, it's just one of those things he hasn't been able to do it. He's not going to go 1-1.
Can you imagine how great it would be if Deegan wins this title and I get a video and pictures in the Star tent after the race?
God.
Like, can you imagine if I'm revving the Star bike and drinking beer out the exhaust in a championship party?
If I'm going to be super honest with you,
You're going to be super jelly if that happens. I'm
No,
going to
no.
be just sending that in the group
No,
chat
no.
like, hey, check this out.
No,
Remember
no.
how you had to stay home?
and here comes another crucifixion in the comments. I don't want Deegan to win this title. Because the
I don't
internet's
either.
going to fucking melt down.
I
Not
don't
that I
either.
don't want the kid to win, because I don't think he deserves it. I don't want him to win because people are going to lose their fucking minds, and it's going to be overly annoying.
I want him to win just for the videos and pictures of me in the pit partying with him during the title.
Oh, my God.
Because that would be dude, literally the whole show that week would just be me like, yo, so I was in there revving the bike.
And then you're going to look over,
like,
pan over to the Honda
weeds.
10, look at Hunter, and go sad pants.
Yeah, and just be like, man, that's my best friend over there. But dude, check this out.
Dude, it is wide open, though.
In there with Duff revving the bike. That's what's gonna happen.
Bike will never blow.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. I'm so pumped.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped.
it's-
I kind of want that to happen now.
Wouldn't it be wild if RJ somehow won this title?
Well,
Like fucking RJ Hampshire's
the
250
Ray
champion.
Hunter's going like.
But yeah, it's wide open. I fully believe this goes out to Iron Man now.
I do, too.
Because I just don't see, even though obviously we know he can, I don't see Hunter going 1-1 where he can start now pulling a gap on these guys.
Yeah, here's the thing: is like you say 1 week, but there's like 4. They got what 4 points between them here.
5.
Okay, yeah.
Either way, it doesn't-
he could
yeah, 4 or 5.
have the red plate the next couple of rounds. Like it would not surprise me.
But I don't think he's going to, I think it's too late in the season now, though, with a reset to pull away like he was.
Yeah.
Because now there's guys that are stepping up, they're doing better, they're getting their shit figured out. So, like,
All it takes is like one of these dudes to get a start one of these motos and like Deegan to pull off another win, and all of a sudden like boom. There's like 6 points between him and Hunter, and then the gap's bigger, and then Hunter rattles off the next couple, and then it's back to like
Well,
5 or
see,
whatever, and like he could.
Hunter, Hayden.
I'm not gonna say it's a foregone conclusion that he only has it for one.
No. I think that
round
he
here.
takes the red plate back at Millville, but he could totally lose it at Washougal.
Oh, okay.
But think about it: Hunter, Deegan, RJ, J. Coop, Joe, and Tom have all won motos now. We have 6 guys that have won motos now.
Oh yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, there's a lot.
oh, Levi. I'm sorry. We have 7 guys that have won motos now.
Yeah.
We have 7 dudes that can have all won motos now. So
Yeah.
you're telling me that 7 dudes now all it has takes is a start and they could win? dude, like, I don't know. It's going to be wild. But, I don't think Deegan's going to have that red plate past Millville.
Okay.
I don't think he'll lose it in the first moto because, once again, he's just too consistent. So even if Hunter wins, like, I don't see him. I don't think they're going to be that far apart.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he leaves Millville with the red plate.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Let's move through these because Kev's ready here. So I told him to give us like 10 minutes to get through the rest of this. Max Volan goes 8-6 for 7th.
Not really a sand guy, so pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not super. I mean, I don't have anything to comment about Max, to be honest with you, because I don't know. He could get a podium. I'd be like, okay, and he could do this, and I'm like, okay. Kitchen goes 5-9 for 8th, which I really thought he was going to be a lot better after practice. In fact, I put him on as an FFL for fantasy.
Especially with the way he rode last year against Jett.
Yeah, and he looked froggy that second practice that was on the broadcast there, so I don't know,
Dude, it's the same thing about him with Joe. Like, get starts, he can win. Doesn't get starts,
this is the same thing that we talked about last week, though, when you were like, oh, man, he's getting confidence, and I'm just like, I don't know yet,
I think it's the same thing with Joe. Like, get a start, he can win.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get a start, he's just kind of 5 to 10.
Yep. Jalik Swoll goes 11-7 for 9th. He was froggy that first moto there until something happened. Did he go down?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he went down.
But he was right up
He
front
basically
there.
scrubbed that drop-off before Buckley berm. Jalik, I'm slowly... He still does Jalik things, but I'm slowly starting to back off being hard on him because when he stayed on 2 wheels this year, he's been top 10 pretty easily.
Yeah, it's been much better than what he has been. Caden Braswell, a surprising 9-11 for 10th.
Especially a big old boy on a 250F in the sand.
So that was interesting. Talon Hawkins was up front at some point, which
Didn't
I
even
was
realize
like, what
Talon
the
Hawkins ever
fuck?
ridden sand before in his
Me
life.
neither, but he goes 10-14 for 11th, so that was interesting.
He's literally from California where it's just concrete the whole time.
Ryder D goes 13-13 for 12, so...
Gave Hayden Deegan a little bit of a battle, both motos.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
So, okay. Hunter Lawrence goes 26-8 for 13th. That bike blows up the first moto.
I was uber shocked.
That bike blew up?
Yeah.
Join the club.
That doesn't happen.
Join the club.
These
Let me
250
ask you this. Did it upset you they dropped the bike?
No, because I think he was probably also spent a little bit.
I was going to say, I pay for my bikes, but at the point of the moto that happened...
If that would have been 3 laps in, I'd have been a little pissed.
Yeah.
But he was probably dead shit tired.
Yes. With 2 laps to go, I'm like, okay. And he didn't throw it down.
No,
he
he
just
kinda
kind of
just-
like stood off it like,
Yep.
I can't believe this. And
And
then
it's
just
sand,
like dropped.
and it's not like
yeah.
he dropped it. And,
Yeah, like there might be some blowback. I could see Mathis getting real pissy because he doesn't like that kind of stuff
Yeah.
because he was a mechanic, which I understand.
And coming from a Ford mechanic as well doesn't
Yes.
annoy me. But once again, dude, he's probably spent. And you
Yeah.
could tell with his body language, like when he went and sat over that, like, dude, he was done.
And like I said, it wasn't like he threw it and kicked
Yeah.
it. He
He
just
just
kind
kinda-
of dropped it, and
yeah.
I went, oh boy, that could cause some ripples
Yeah, it's
here
not like
in
it
the,
did anything. I mean, dude, the bike
industry.
grenade.
Yeah, that was. Did you see the guy try to hand him a Gatorade? He's
Yeah, I
like,
did.
no.
He's like, no, man.
No, I'm
Yeah,
good.
definitely don't fucking hand me a Gatorade.
Yeah, don't hand me a Gatorade.
Yeah, I'll be curious. I mean, it's going to come out. It was an electrical failure. And I'm like, well, that bike was smoking, so I don't.
Well, how about in the what was it, mid-rate, like the break show there in between motos? They were like watching that video, and Stu was like, "Oh man, I'm trying to see like maybe it was Ricky. He's like, oh, is there a hole in the cam cover?" And I'm like, first off, it's a valve cover. Let's just you're fucking.
Ricky's never worked on a dirt
Your
bike in his
knowledge
life.
it fucking sucks. All right. Second off, I don't see a hole. All
I-
right? and then he was like talking about the piston going through, and I'm like, oh boy,
No.
I think we need to do an engine breakdown class for Ricky.
I'm just going to assume with the way that thing was smoking, it was definitely a cooling issue. Maybe it popped a head gasket, blew head gasket, faulty
Yeah.
it. Might have just popped a head gasket and whatever, lost.
The weird thing is that Hunter doesn't ride in a way to that should
No,
happen.
and here's the thing. When's the last time Honda's had a DNF?
Last year,
250s?
yeah, Jet at Red Bull.
Oh,
remember?
that's right.
I know because I have that video
That
of
is
them changing that
right.
motor.
Yeah, that's right. You are right. All right. So
It's
I
rare.
apologize. It's very rare. It's very
And
rare that a factory
yeah.
250F blows up
And
anymore.
Jets just quit last year. It wasn't smoking like that.
Yeah, so that is also too might have been
Which
yeah.
makes me believe that like maybe a hose popped off or something.
Could be.
Got
I mean, dude, this
loose
is
and
the
was-
wick
yeah.
shit happens. It just doesn't happen that often.
Radiator
anymore.
cap, something.
But yeah, like it cost him the points lead. He
Yeah.
was definitely not going to lose the points lead after that. But I mean, dude, now, hey, here's the thing. Now too, we're going to see Hunter in a position like he was last year. Is he going to crumble or is he going to keep this shit rolling? Because this happened last year when he got the points lead and then he lost it.
And the real big question is like, what's his health like at this point? Because he's hurt. You could tell the way he was talking all day. He's not feeling great.
So right now,
with the rib situation,
it's between 4 people. Like people say, it's only between Hayden and Hunter, but dude, this class is fucking crazy.
You got RJ and what's it called?
And J.
Cooper are right there too. Yeah,
all kind of same percent. Well, RJ maybe a little less. Same percentage pie for most of them at this point. Being that we don't know how healthy Hunter is.
RJ's like 10%.
Okay, so Jacob,
just because he can't hold it together.
Yeah, so Jacob, Hunter, and Hayden kind of level, especially if Jacob has found his old form.
Yeah,
I kind of are all. I mean, I know percentage wise you can't mathematically do this, but I feel in my mind they all have the same amount of chance of winning this title at this point.
Man.
Because like I said, if Jacob can find old Jacob speed, the guy that actually used to be able to beat Jett when he dude, he could just start clicking wins off.
He could.
So, shit's wide open. It's awesome for us fans because the 450 class is fucking stupid.
Yeah. All right. So, Daxton Bennett shows up, which was weird.
Yeah.
Like, why would you make him come ride this round? Like, if he rode next week at, what's it called, Millville, I'd be like, okay, all right, fine.
Well, weird.
But this one was weird. I wonder if we'll see him.
Boothies.
No, not compared to last week anyway. I mean, 17-12 for 14th. Okay, whatever. Jimmy D goes 12-17 for 15th and his fastest qualifier, which does not surprise me at all.
No, dude, track's freshly rolled. There's no bump. Hold it wide open. Go outside.
Yeah, not a surprise.
Top 20 both motos.
Yeah.
So what was it, 11th the first moto?
Actually, this ties a career best outdoor overall.
Yeah, he never even did that when he rode for Geico or anybody else.
No, 15th was his career best.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome. But I also loved how the fact he was very transparent.
Did you pick him in fantasy?
I haven't done fantasy in a long time.
Oh, really? Yeah. I didn't know you hadn't been doing it.
I would have though. Definitely. What was his handicap?
It was like a 13 or something.
So he definitely got.
Oh yeah, he got me 100. Yeah. No, it was Matt Mitchell and I were talking about it. And I was like, dude, I don't know. His best finish is 15th in his prime.
Yeah.
But he
also never had fastest qualifier either.
But he did the interview and he said, yo, man, like, I've got my Lyme disease under control. Like, we're feeling good. And I was like, fuck, okay. And then I sent it.
Dude, he was good, though, all day.
He was really
good. I know
good.
people are like, oh, it's the wick, this and that. I don't give a shit, dude. This guy's had Lyme disease. He hasn't been a professional for 5 years. He rides a 125 most of the time.
And he comes out and goes 12-17.
Dude, he was awesome.
That was great.
He was great. And I've always been a fan of Jimmy D. I don't know how you can't be, even as a casual fan, if you know who he is.
The Ripper.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. So there's a GoPro cam of him on GoPro's YouTube channel from press day. Anybody that wants to know how to ride sand on 250F, go watch that GoPro video.
All right, Jorgen Tilviku from Estonia.
Jorgen Tilviku.
Yeah.
He was here last year.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I picked him for fantasy also. 14-16 for 16th.
He knows how to ride sand.
Yeah.
He's good. I think they're in for Millville, and then I think they're going back. Okay. We got some other, we'll talk about it at the end of the show. We got some other guys coming for the last three.
Slade Smith goes 18-15 for 17th.
That was weird.
Dylan Schwartz goes 15-18 for 18th.
That's just kind of where he is these days.
James Harrington goes 16-22 for 19th.
Knows how to ride the sand.
And Matty Jorgensen goes 37-19 for 20.
How weird is it that a 37-19 can get you a 20th in this class at this point?
And that's basically it here. So, all right, that's been your 250 race recap brought to you by our friends at Adept Creative Co. And now we are going to try to call up friend of the show here, Kevin Moranz. Let's see here if this works.
Kevin.
Hopefully this stupid thing works here because I've been having issues with my phone.
Oh, with the charging?
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I guess if I go to the right thing here. Gray radio.
Great.
FaceTime audio. Let's see here. Hey, it seems to be working. That's good. Yeah, I need a new one because it's not. The charging thing doesn't work all the time. It sucks. He isn't going to answer me. He told me he was ready. Now he is. Oh.
Hello?
Yo, Kevin Moranz.
Howdy.
Welcome to the Moto Aftermath Show, bud. How are you tonight?
Sore as all get out. Let's just say that.
Yeah. The sand wasn't fun for you.
So when's Supercross start?
Well, bro, let me tell you, after going to Redbud last week, I told Justin, I was like, at the most, we can go to every other national if we ever get to that point, because I cannot do two of these weekends in a row. The sun, the heat, I'm out. I want to go in air conditioning, Wi-Fi, I want the whole 9. Bathrooms.
Dude, that was brutal.
Dude, yeah. So let's start with Southwick here and talk about that first. And then we'll get to the WSX because we've got lots of questions here and things to talk about with you. So, yeah. So tell us about your Millville day here because Southwick. Sorry, I'm fucking brain fading here on Sunday. Tell us about your Southwick day here, because I mean you've basically been in a whirlwind of travel here for the last 2 weeks. So,
yeah. So, long story short. Definitely jet lagged. Actually kind of came down with a little bit of something on the way home. Sore throat, coughing up nasty, mucusy, green stuff. So that was not ideal. Very heavy eyes, just kind of tired the 2 days leading up to the event, even when we got into town. Got everything ready. And, yeah, overall Southwick, not stoked with it, but it is what it is kind of deal. So we got our first rounds out of the way. Obviously, we're coming back to outdoors to be scoring points. It's not fun when you're not scoring points. Not really worth it if you're not scoring points, kind of deal. Just to be really honest. But kind of to be expected with the gnarly travel. We didn't leave Birmingham until Tuesday. I didn't get back until Tuesday night, I believe, and then boom, left Thursday for Southwick. So literally had 1 day at home to put all my helmet wrap graphics, everything together, bike graphics, whipped it all up, grabbed my stuff, went to the races, and in qualifying, I was actually kind of happy with how I felt, because the first round of qualifying, I think I was sitting P33 after everything was said and done, and then actually qualified P13 in the second qualifier compared to everybody. So I was like one of the only dudes that actually went faster in the second session than I did in the first session. Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, felt good in qualifying, and I was like, okay, this actually might be pretty solid. And then if you go and watch, you know who Tommy Tenders is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who that is? So if you go watch his Instagram, he has a good slow-mo of the first 450 start.
Okay.
And you will literally see Kevin Moranz in last place. Literally dead last place. I was the last one to go through the first corner because I pretty much stopped in the first corner because there's people squirreling out on the very inside. So, yeah, came from there, was just in the mix of all the squirreliness and everybody in the back, and just pretty much told myself, yo, don't take it out, or don't take yourself out of racing in the first 1 to 4 laps of this race kind of deal. So I kind of just played it smart, got around those guys, but by the time I got around those dudes, everybody was sending it and gone kind of deal. So just made my way through the pack, ended up 29th, was whatever kind of deal. I was like, all right, I'm not starting inside this time. Inside is not the move unless you absolutely rip a great jump. So I went outside, better move. Started top 15, but I was toast from the first one, to be really honest. So didn't have a really good intensity pace, more or less. The first few laps dropped from 15th to pretty much 28th, and then chugged my way back to 22nd by the end of it. So overall the day, we got through the first round, ready to put it behind us. That track, not a fan of it when it comes to what it does to your body. Obviously, I love that kind of style of track, and I love suffering at the end because usually that's when I can start picking people off. But Kev just wasn't really there. A lot of things going against me, happening on the bike, kind of new bike, which felt good, by the way, which is solid. But, yeah, just minimal time, minimal prep, and it is what it is.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. That 22nd, the second moto, was way better than I had anticipated you doing, to be quite honest with you. And that was strictly based off the travel schedule and the lack of prep for outdoors here. Because let's face it, you told me the week of Redbud or the week before Redbud, yeah, man. So we're gonna go ride outdoors here when we get back from London, and I'm like, all right. So yeah, so I figured you would be probably in the 25.
In the
no, I didn't. didn't necessarily think LCQ. I was thinking like 25 to 30 just on the first one here. And like I said, a lot of that was based on travel schedule, lack of prep.
Oh, he's not lying. When we were driving down to Redbud on Friday, he asked that. He goes, "So I think Kev's going to do at Southwick," and I'm like, "Well,"
I was like, what do you really think he's going to do?
Yeah,
And like
give
I said,
it to me all minutes. What'd you say?
well, we landed on like the 25 to 30 because we're like, dude, he doesn't have any outdoor prep. He wasn't going to ride it.
And then you're going from riding a Honda on a Supercross track to a KTM on an outdoor track.
Yeah.
That's arguably the roughest track of the year. So it's like, yeah.
Look, to be honest with you, Kev, you just had a bunch of shit working against you, all right? So, like, I'm super proud of that 22nd, and you should be too, because, I mean, you are not riding outdoors right now.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, you had some of those awesome Kevin Moranz, Jeff Walker battles that we're so accustomed to.
Dude, both motos, bro.
Like, I don't get it.
First moto, like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I remember this last year, just being right there.
Just rolling up on Jeff
then,
like, dude, get away from me.
Dude, I know. And then, so I had that little lull. Sorry, I'm coughing and whatnot. But I had that little lull at the beginning of the second moto. Got a good start, and Jeff passes me.
Shocking.
Like, I'll see you later, kind of deal. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'll see you in a bit. You know what I mean? You go and sprint it out a little bit. I'll see you in a little bit. And he kind of gapped me a little bit, and then boom, just started chugging back up to him. And then, yeah, dude, he had like nothing at the end of the moto. I was smoked. I was smoked halfway through that moto, dude. So, yeah, I kept digging deep because I was like, I want to at least get him before the end of this. So I was happy to make that happen.
Yeah, you and everyone else that rode that track yesterday.
I would say, like I said, dude, I thought it was great. The first moto was exactly kind of in the realm of where I thought you would be, and then that second moto, I was like, dude, he's bad. Like when I start, because I was keeping track of actually you and Walker because you guys were right next to each other on the timing on the side there, and towards the end of that second moto, I saw you guys start to move up, and I'm like, dude, is Kev gonna get actually like in the points here the second moto? Because that would be like a huge thing in my opinion to get in the points second moto. So you know I'm always gonna shoot you straight, bro. I'm not gonna bullshit you and be like, yeah man, I thought you were gonna win. Like go challenge Jett. Like fuck this, you're the greatest. Nah, dude. Like bro, dude. Like, but hey, let's get off the outdoor stuff here because, like me, you're much more of a Supercross guy here. Let's talk about let's talk about this World Supercross because I am so excited to hear all the behind the scenes stuff. I've freaking watched the vlog. I thought there was plenty of cool things there, but like what was this experience like? Like compared to let's compare it to some Feld Supercross. Like how did you feel going in there? Like what was the track like? I want all the different details like that.
Yeah, like, so one of the coolest things is how they kind of involve everybody in the opening ceremonies. Obviously, Supercross in the States, you got to be one of the top dudes, or they don't really give you much attention kind of deal.
Yep.
So that was kind of cool. I mean, obviously, there's less people doing it. They kind of have to give attention to the main guys because they have 80 dudes that are coming to show up. So a little bit different in that aspect, but no, I was just really stoked with how everything went. It was obviously it's a cool experience, right? You get to go to a different country, see different culture, go see different things. In the States here, like you're used to just seeing the same city, same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's cool to have the fan interaction and stuff like that. I think one of the coolest things was like going overseas and what you saw in the vlog is like these people were like hooting and hollering on the street. And I was like, oh, like they're just like, you know, just joking around or they're just having a good time or whatever. And they come right up to me. I'm like, wait, you guys know me? And they're like, yeah, dude, watch the vlog. And I'm like, what?
Dude.
So like that was actually kind of like a cool experience.
That was sick. I saw that in the vlog and I was like, dude, that is the coolest thing when you're somewhere like that and someone's like, hey, I know you. How do you know me? YouTube.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Dude, Brits are hardcore when it comes to moto, man. It's the same thing with French people. Like they're all about moto.
Okay, so I guess I'll get into some more specific questions here. So the opening ceremonies, I heard there was a bit of confusion with everyone going out on the floor for the opening ceremonies and then like, oh, do we come off? Do we go back on? Do we stay here? Do we leave? Like I heard there was a bit of confusion with that. So what exactly was like what were the instructions for that?
So it's a little bit all over the place, right? Like so there's first off I'll just say I think there's a lot of potential within the series. I think what they have going on is really cool. I think it's gonna kinda take things to the next level. But yeah, like it was a little bit squirrely for this first one. Obviously, it's the first one of the year. We're going to kind of get it down, and the rest of them will be pretty.
Nope.
But I think that they kind of. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now. You're good.
Okay. I think that they kind of semi-figured that majority everybody that did it last year was doing it this year kind of deal.
Okay.
So it wasn't like super in detail, the descriptions of what we needed to do. Or it kind of was, but they probably should have like ran you through it right before you go out and do it. Like, oh, just remember, we go out here as soon as they get ready to introduce the big dudes, you guys all come out kind of deal. So yeah, we all just stayed on the track, and then like, I think it was McElrath came off the track when they're introducing the big guys, and we're all like, should we have done that too? And then we all just kind of followed suit. So yeah, it was kind of weird, but no, overall, like, super cool experience, super cool deal. So yeah, what other questions you got?
What did you think of the track there? Because obviously the lap times were super short. Did it feel short? Did it feel racy? I've kind of skimmed through it. It's not like a US Supercross where I was like, oh, I got to sit down and watch this. Plus we were at Redbud that whole day. So like me and Justin got back and kind of were like, oh yeah, we'll watch this later and talk about it next week deal. So what did you think of the track overall compared to like a US track?
So I'll be really honest with this, whether they listen to this or not. I will probably give my 2 cents to them that I think that they should have tried to set it up a little bit more all the way down the stadium, all the way back down the stadium.
Okay.
To the side. They had like a zigzag in the middle that kind of made things a little bit goofy, to be honest. Like towards the end of the motos, like the mains, it kind of had some passing areas, which it was kind of cool. But yeah, it was a little bit goofy because you had some shorter sections that broke it up, but then it was kind of like on the gas, off the gas, on the gas. Like there wasn't a ton of flow with it.
Got it.
But as far as everything was built, like it was pretty good. Everything was pretty solid. Obviously the dirt was a little bit tricky. It was tacking some areas and then dry slick in some areas. But I mean, we have that at some of the Supercross tracks around the States too. So
yeah, did
for the most part, it's pretty good.
Scale wise, everything seemed to be roughly the same though. Like.
Yeah, pretty solid. I mean, everything was pretty much on point as far as that goes. The finish line was a little bit big.
I was
going to ask about that.
I was also going to bring up, did you have any sketch moments on the split lane before the finish line like everybody else?
Yes. Oh, 100%, yes. I'm trying to think of what else. So the middle section, like right after you hit the finish line, you turn, you have like a little double-double situation, and boom, that first like legitimate rhythm where there was a choice whether you go 3 on off, or like Roxon was going 3 over table 2, but like a majority of the guys were just going 2, 3 on off single. That was a pretty solid rhythm. Like I liked how there was choices there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everything else was. I mean, it was built pretty good.
Okay.
I will say that the Supercross triple face was quite steep, and the Supercross triple landing was quite mellow. So like you're going off a very steep face to a pretty flat landing was always a pretty hard hit.
Huh. How was
that was my only.
How were the whoops? Were those pretty big or those were pretty mellow too?
Dude, they were actually pretty gnarly. Like they were not big and they looked like they were going to be super easy. As soon as I was walking the track, I was like, "Oh, boom, got those, perfect." But they just got super edgy. Like they were pretty tricky.
How was the bike? Like, did they get that bike set up the same way you have the one set up at your house, or?
So this is the way the Honda Nils program worked for me. At least this is what the deal is. So I don't know what I've told you off the record. This is all I'm going to say on the record kind of deal. But well, you like that?
Yeah.
So
on the record here,
always a corporate man.
Yeah.
Yes. So they're an overseas team. They're like, hey, we'd love to give you a bike, get you a bike to work on, yada yada yada. I obviously was kind of a later addition to the team, and they're pretty much like, if you could go buy yourself a practice bike, that would be super sick. You go buy yourself a bike, you get some practice, we'll send you a set of suspension, a set of clamps, and some other goodies and whatnot to test out. But if you can do that, it's going to make everything actually work. Like, if you're going to expect us to try to get you a bike or any other situation, I guess I could have said, hey, send me the money to buy a bike. It doesn't really bother me, right? Like, at least most privateers of my level or around my level, you buy a bike, you're not going to lose a bunch on it. As long as you have a dealer that's going to give you a good deal, maybe get it at cost, etc. Like, you're not going to lose a ton on the bike. So that didn't scare me. And they were sending me a set of suspension. So they said, you get the bike, we'll send you a set of suspension. You find somebody in America to set it up. And then boom, test with it. Tell us everything you like on the bike. then you just take the suspension only, fly with it overseas, and we'll put it on the bike you race in.
Okay.
So it was honestly like the easiest way to make it work because I did all my handlebar testing, gearing testing, full shot device, how far down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And all I had to do is they just sent me a set of suspension. That's all. That's everything that I showed up to the race was the same on my practice bike, obviously, and then I just flew with the suspension.
How what's it like flying with suspension? Like what goes into that? Because a lot of people talk about this, but like that has to be an interesting thing of like
just ask Dean Wilson.
Yeah, of like checking it or like carrying it on. Like I don't even know if that's
Oh,
an
why?
option.
What happened? Did his get lost?
No, in the past he's had problems when he's done overseas races, and they have lost his shit in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is obviously a large concern. All I have is I have like a moto cases, so like moto case. So it's like obviously cut out foam for a set of suspension. So it's got a shock cutout, it's got 2 fork cutouts. So it's an entire gun case more or less, but it's just got the suspension in it. So what I do is it's honestly as simple as just checking a bag. So you just tell them, is this a gun? No, it's a suspension case or whatever. What I did something extra on top of it because I always hear these stories about these things getting lost and never get returned. So I printed off a piece of paper and put it inside of it. I said, if this package / bag is held, if there's problems, if it's not able to continue, or if it's lost, please contact me at, boom, I put my number, I put my email, and I put my Instagram. So, like, there's no reason that they can tell me that this is completely lost. Like, somebody's going to open it and see this inside. So, they're either BSing or somebody stole it, kind of a deal. So, I did that, and I had no problems. Like, it showed right up, and then I flew back home with it as well. And same thing like domestic. Like, I just flew to Southwick with an extra set of suspension, just a stock set of suspension, because I didn't know how good my stuff was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I had something as a backup. And yeah, same situation. I just threw that little piece of paper in there, and wada bing, wada boom, there it is.
Sweet. Now, what did they have you do for press stuff? Like, did you have anything outside of the stadium, or everything press-wise was in the stadium for this?
Everything was inside the stadium. I kind of thought they were going to have like some activities outside the stadium, like they've had in years or last year.
Yeah.
But no, everything was in stadium, kind of what you saw in the vlog. Like we had a little media day, and that was about it. We didn't get to ride or anything like that. No testing, no press day, riding. As soon as you came out, you got 1 free practice, 1 qualifying session, boom, went racing.
Okay. What was the crowd like? Was it big, or because it didn't look that big on TV, but it was?
Yeah, I think that's another thing. Like I think it's got potential to grow once they get into it and kind of make it more of a consistent thing.
Okay.
I thought it was healthy, but it was nothing like crazy.
Okay. I'm brain fading. Ask him a question.
How do you like the format?
Yeah, there we go.
Honestly, when I was doing it, I was like, this is awful. Why do they not go 250, 450, 250, 450, 250, 450?
Yeah, that is a little weird.
I think that's a change that they probably should make in the future. But when your boy was running 5th for the entire 3rd race, I was like, I love this format. Everybody else is gas.
It's kind of like a Triple Crown. You get to that 3rd one, and you're like, man, everybody else is struggling, and I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Did it seem?
I was.
Oh, go ahead.
Too. I was getting pumped up. I was getting pumped up towards the end of the second, and you even saw me say in the video, I'm like, you just got to be smooth and carry this one out, Kev, because like I was already kind of toast, but I got a good start and just rode my ride kind of deal. It's a lot easier to be consistent and smooth on Supercross than it is a Southwick track that can.
Did the racing seem really short? Yeah, we got you now. Did the racing seem really short? Because it was like on TV. Okay. It was like you snapped your fingers and like the race was over. Especially in the 250s. 450s was a bit more, but it still was quick.
Yeah, no, it was pretty fast.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, it felt like a while because you have 3 different races. Like you're like, okay, I just raced once, sweet, ready to go for round 2. After round 2, you're like, geez, Louise, we already raced twice. You got another one? Like, my goodness, it's gonna be longer. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty quick, to be honest. I will say the one thing I do not like about the series that I will probably be voicing my opinion about is they have a last lap card, right? They don't have a white flag. They have a last lap card.
Okay.
And you coming out of that right-handed corner, it's very tough to see. So almost every time I raced, I didn't know it was the last lap or like anything like that. I just saw the checkered flag. I'm like, oh, okay, we're done. Because like, it's super hard to see just like a card being held there.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. Like you see a flag waving. You don't see like, you know what I mean? So that's one thing that I thought was kind of goofy about this situation.
Did you talk to anybody? Did anybody else have that same feeling or sentiment about it?
No, honestly, dude, I was completely slammed from 2 weeks before World Supercross to literally until now, where I have like a full week to kind of think about things.
Yeah.
And just kind of reflecting on everything. That's one thing that kind of sticks out. So no, I haven't mentioned it to anybody.
Look, I'm just waiting to see Kevin that Super Bowl.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Dude, that would be pretty sick, though. I'm not gonna lie.
So
we need. I will tell you. We need. I have it in my notes to talk about because that's the one thing we haven't talked about is the WSX race yet. We need Super Pole here.
I love the Super Bowl idea.
It's fucking awesome. Okay. Yep.
He's like, okay. Like,
yep. We can hear you.
So you said you have in your notes to do what?
We need need the Super Pole here.
We both like Super Bowl. I think it's a great idea.
I think it is pretty cool. And it adds a little bit extra time, so then you're not just like race.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I honestly think it's what we should start the night with for the night show. Even if it's only like the top 5 guys, it still should be that, and then there can be 5 points, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, 1 point shit or something.
It's kind of like with that one, like everybody kind of assumed like, oh yeah, Kenny's been fastest all day. Like, of course he's going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then just out of nowhere, ultimately, I know it doesn't mean anything, but like Jay Hill, like all of a sudden just pops up. You're like, okay, that adds some excitement to the race.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I know once like Kev said, it's harder on the riders, but like from the fan perspective and growing that like series, dude, it's something that over here we're not going to be used to. Over there, they do a lot of it in their little small Supercross series, but I think it's a cool idea.
So, Kev, what'd you end up? 8th overall?
10th.
10th? Okay. Well,
yep.
Dude.
I mean, that's kind of where
that's great, dude.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, for 2 weeks on the bike pretty much and going over there first round kind of, I mean, I was happy with how it went, to be really honest. Especially, I mean, I finished right behind, I could be wrong, but I think I finished right behind Nichols. I beat Josh Hill. And obviously, like Seeley and a bunch of other pretty solid dudes. So, like, I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
We just kind of came to the conclusion that you need to beat Grant Harlan.
Yeah.
Because you guys have just kind of been going this back and forth thing of who's like the best privateer as far as Supercross is related.
Yeah. Wait, say that again?
You got to beat Grant Harlan, bro, because you two are fighting it out for
Yeah,
privateer
I
of
know.
the year.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I was like, well, as long as it beats Grant, like,
Yeah.
then we're good.
I was happy about that too, dude. Homie's killing it outdoors. Like, I got to give it to him.
He is. He stepped his shit up, especially in Supercross.
Yeah.
Like, he's always been good outdoors, but Supercross, he definitely got a lot better this last year.
Yep. So, so when do they come to redo the track?
Right now it's looking like probably like Tuesday. I think it's August 8th or 9th.
Sick.
7th or 8th, something like that.
Sick.
So then they're going to work until probably the weekend.
Cool. Sweet.
So the weekend of the 12th, which is the weekend of what, Unadilla?
Yeah.
Is the weekend that they'll be done.
Yeah, it's the weekend
Sweet.
of Unadilla.
Well, I'll be through Kansas the weekend before that. Yeah, the 29th of what's it called? So I'll be through. Maybe we'll stop by if it's on the way. Say hi.
Yeah. No, that'd be sweet though.
Yeah.
Come on out, you know?
Yeah, well, I can't ride, or this is a quick weekend in and out to do some family stuff that I'll tell you about off the air. But yeah,
Gotcha.
But yeah, but I don't know exactly. I know it's a little bit farther than your house, so I'll see if we can swing going by. Me and Ashley will stop in and say hi.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I should be home.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the Loretta's weekend, so it's the off weekend, so it works perfectly for me. So, but
Indeed.
All right, you got anything else for him?
Nah, man.
I think that's all I got. All right, Kev. Well, thank you for coming on,
Thanks,
sir.
brother.
Really appreciate it. Great job this weekend. Great job last weekend
Awesome.
at World Supercross, man. Hopefully you still want to be friends, even though I thought you were going to be a 25 to 30th place guy.
Hey, at least
I
you didn't have
appreciate it.
the same experience as you did last year at the WIC.
I thought last year was
what, going 21-21?
No, I thought you had the whole case issue where like you were having problems like.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of issues there,
Yeah.
but it did suck going 21-21.
Yeah.
I was say I thought
I wasn't talking
yeah.
about the
think I
results. I was talking about bike shit.
I was say results wise, I thought it was all right.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
you did
that's
get
fine,
points,
but like it was stressful leading up
Well,
to that.
there's nothing worse than getting 21-21. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, just one
That-
point out
that
of the.
just
It's like
sucks.
second. Like if you're not first, you're last.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Well, man, get some rest. I'll talk to you this week, brother. And thanks for coming on, man.
See ya.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. You know, we'll keep that TLR Coatings on the. We need to snag Moto Aftermath Show on some stuff too. So I appreciate it. And yeah, we have them on the floor.
Yeah, because they don't hate us over there.
I would say we get that Moto Aftermath show on that World Supercross bike.
Yeah, we don't have Adam Bailey. Who doesn't
Yeah,
like us.
son.
I'm a big Adam Bailey fan, so. All right,
See
later,
you,
brother.
Alrighty, bye.
All right, Kevin Moranz, everybody.
Kevin Moranz. No, man, I definitely was not talking about the results. The results were good. It was that whole putting the hole through the case last year.
Do you think he's mad at me now because I said he was going to go 25-30?
No, I think Kev is definitely somebody who doesn't get pissed off when people express their opinion.
Look, man,
I think if you would have said that you didn't think he was going to qualify, he'd probably be a little salty.
that
but
I
think,
no,
dude,
I didn't think that.
I don't think that he. I don't think that he probably had high expectations for the win.
Because I don't think he's out of shape. He's just not in full blown outdoor shape.
No, he hasn't been riding outdoors. He literally
So-
just went from riding Supercross on a Honda to KTM on an outdoor track that he hadn't been riding outdoors.
Let's put it this way: they brought him up on the fantasy show, and they
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, I think he's riding a Honda," and then you're like, "No, he's riding a KTM," and then Paul was like, "Well, I just sent him a bunch of rental shit for Honda, so like, I don't know what he's riding here, but so yeah, no one really knew."
Yeah, here's the thing.
Kev's a
if
mystery.
he'd have been riding the Honda outdoors, though, he definitely would have got 19.
Yeah, sure.
Get off
All
that
right.
KTM.
Let's talk about World Supercross. So, because that's the last thing we got here. So,
Yeah.
first off, Super Pole is freaking awesome.
Love Super. Like I said, dude,
We need
everybody,
it.
Everybody thought Kenny. Oh, dude, fastest all day. It's Kenny. Like whatever. And then
And
Jay
then
Hill just comes out and just
Justin
like
Hill.
does Justin Hill things, and you're like, that is what I'm talking about, dude.
Yes.
Like Super Pole. When all these guys, we've talked about it enough. We always wonder, like, if one of these guys, you give them incentive, if they just go out and focus on putting one lap heater in, who could be the fastest dude? Who could be the fastest dude? And it's like Justin Hill did Justin Hill things. Like he just went out and he just put the lap of his life in, and you're like, okay, that's cool. Didn't expect that.
Nope.
You know, because here's the thing: would it shock me if he did it again? No. Would it shock me if Savachi went out and did it? No. It adds excitement to the show.
Yep.
Which that's what Supercross is. It's a show.
Yep.
Outdoors is hardcore for the hardcore people. Supercross is a show. You add more excitement to it. That's the whole point of it. It's just like anything else that is a show.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah. So that's awesome. The track was short, which we already kind of touched on.
when that split lane before the finish was dumb. Kenny's
well, it's really
line
stupid.
where he
It's
was
super
bouncing
cool,
off.
though.
Yeah, he was bouncing off the berm and then shifting weight and kind of doubling in was cool. But the moment that they kicked the tough block out, I was like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, and that finish line was huge. I was glad to see we weren't using the metal ramp for the finish. That was cool.
That's a good thing.
But that was a big. I'll tell you what, dude. There were a lot of them 250 guys stretching.
I
to
think
get
Dino
over that.
almost killed himself a couple times.
I think so too. But there were a lot of guys stretching
Yeah.
to get over that on the
Yep.
250 class, especially. So, what do you? So this has been a topic of conversation. The Alessi crash.
Okay.
And how long it took for that red flag to come out? Because he was out for 3 to 4 minutes, is what I heard.
Yeah, that
Which
was
was 3 to 4 laps.
that was a
he
really
was out.
Yeah, honestly, if I was them, I'd have thrown up the red flag after the first time around. Like after the first lap, and then they were like, "Okay, can we get him up?" And then the second time it came around, I don't know why
They
didn't
said there
flip.
wasn't a red flag there at all.
What?
That's what I've
They
heard.
didn't have a red flag.
That's what I've heard.
Well, if
Which-
that's the case,
that's-
that is not a good look. Then you know what? Stick one of the medic dudes right in front of.
Yeah, well, that was what they did. Because, did you see Shane? Because literally they're throwing the medic flag, and then that guy's standing there in the middle of the section.
Well, dude, and if I'm Shane and Max, and I can't remember who else was a part of that battle, was it Oldenburg or whatever?
Yeah.
Dude, every time I come around, I got to stall up my momentum for a whole rhythm section. I'm getting a little pissed.
Yeah, and those races were short anyway. That is one thing. And again, we're going to do some criticism here because the series is new and they have
There's
some things to
definitely
work
some
on.
things they got to tweak.
But I'm with Kev. Lots
It's got
of
room to grow.
potential for this.
There wasn't a lot of people there, though. That was
super strange.
But it's also what we've been hearing, though. Reason why some of these rounds have gone away.
Yeah.
It hasn't done as well as they thought. But I'm also on your train of thinking that I think they're gonna kind of do what the GPs do and get some of these local municipalities or whatever you want to call them governments to.
And here's another thing I've heard. direct from Adam Bailey is that they're trying to do, with all these ones they're doing right now, they're trying to do multi-year deals in the place, which will be good because that will build consistency, which will hopefully build the fan base there. So, so the red flag situation there needed to be, they needed to have that more ironed out, because that was definitely a thing that could happen, and it did happen. We saw it, and it was real mess.
Sketch.
And then the restart was the same thing. And the real problem with the restart was that you did that single file restart, except for the track just curves right back around on itself. So that was an issue. So from what I understand, the last 5 guys were like the rules didn't matter. It was just like, get the fuck out of the way. So I think we need to look at some stuff like that a little bit closer.
I will. So, have you sent? You just said you watched the clip. Have you watched the whole broadcast yet, though?
So I kind of skipped through the broadcast.
So what do you think of what you saw, though, about the most important part? I guess the actual racing.
I thought the racing was actually pretty good, and I think
Even
a lot of
450 class?
I think a lot of it has to do with the freaking, what's it called?
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Outside of Kenny not getting a start, he's not gonna get beat this year.
No, but we knew that coming in.
Yeah, but part of me, like, dude, Vince Freeze, he got that one win only because he got the start and he was doing Vince Freeze things. The 250 class was all over the place, even though Shane ultimately ended up winning as many motos. What do you won? 2 out of the 3 or all 3 or something? Yeah. Max was not. I thought Max would be a lot better, to be honest with you. And then Enzo riding with a busted up shoulder, like, that was impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, the Enzo thing was super interesting. How he popped his shoulder out, got it popped back in, then rode.
I think he's going to dominate the rest of that series.
But now I'm confused because now I've heard he's getting surgery, and then I heard he wasn't getting surgery. So I don't really know what's going on with that. If he gets surgery, like, he's out.
Oh, he's done for sure.
But I don't. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I do think he has the potential to dominate the 250 class there.
I think the 450 class is pretty clear cut. It's Kenny, Savacci, and Vince Freeze.
Yeah,
like. It's pretty clear cut, because even I thought
Justin Hill sticks his nose in.
No,
though?
I mean, I thought, like, dude, especially after he went out and won the Super Bowl and he was feeling froggy in the qualifier, like, dude, he doesn't. I don't think he, which is odd because he's always kind of been a fast starter. I don't think he gets into a groove early enough in those short mains.
Yeah, that's probably true. I think he does need a longer main to get into a groove and like really
he did this at the end of this
stuff off.
And he did this at the end of our series. Like, as the main would go on, he'd start clicking dudes off, which is something weird because you never really thought of Justin Hill as being a cardio guy, but like whatever.
Yeah.
But I think because the field isn't obviously as deep, like if Kenny and Savacci and Freeze get a start, like he can't catch him.
No,
he just can't. So. The racing was good. My biggest complaint, and it's kind of one of those things they're going to have to work on, their biggest miss, though, they didn't have a top GP guy. That was the biggest miss to me. Because, dude, could you imagine if they would have had, like, a Jeremy Sewer, or when they go to, what is it? They have a Spain round, right? I think? Because they were talking about...
I don't remember.
Because the big thing was trying to get Prado, which obviously Prado now is never going to happen because he has the the GP lead. But I feel like it's a big miss if they don't have a top GP dude show up for at least one of these rounds. Because once again, we've talked about this. Like, if they don't get a top GP guy, this is just an American series in a different part of the world.
Yeah,
which is fine. Like, it's fine. We still have the top Supercross dudes in the world, but the whole point of this being a World Supercross series is having people that don't race our own series in it. And I know that they have Subs and they have Zorande and they have Ramet and all these different guys. But, like, no offense to those dudes, a lot of those dudes are way past their prime and they're never going to win a race. You know, Matt Moss was in there, so that's cool, but he's all over the place. Luke Clout has the potential to be the one guy that could step up, but he can't stay off the ground. Tonti's not a Supercross guy. So it's like, you have some of these decent guys, but it's still a miss if they don't have a top GP guy show up for one of these races. Like, it would have been cool to kind of what they did that one year with remember that wild Supercross race they did with the sand that Hurlings was there and Geyser was there?
It was an SMX.
Yeah.
It was a super motocross race.
If you could get like a Geyser to show up to one of these, or you could get a Hurlings to show up to one of these, they'd obviously have to pay him a lot of money for that one race. But that is my only beef. If I'm gonna really like harp on something, that is my only thing is the fact that they didn't have a top GP dude. Because I don't know about you, but I was sitting there and I'm going, yeah, man, I feel like I'm just watching like a less loaded Felt Supercross race.
Yeah, I do have to say though, I do think that I think the format lends itself to parity more, which is cool because the races are super short, man.
Yeah, you got to get a start.
Super short.
Outside of that last one, and even the last one, it's only 10 and 12 laps. You got to get a start.
Yeah,
or 10 and 12 minutes or whatever the hell you want to call it.
It's super interesting to see how short it actually is. And like I said, watching the 250s, it was like, okay, sweet. And then like as soon as you start getting into it, it's like, boom, it's done.
It also makes it more so in the 250 class because it's obviously guys are a lot closer together as far as speed and talent.
Yeah.
It definitely makes it where if you don't get a start in one of those mains, you could easily lose the championship in
100%.
in one round.
100%.
Like, because if Shane goes to whatever the one is on the 30th and he just doesn't get starts all night, like, dude, because he's not clearing away faster than everybody else.
No.
So you're going to work your way up to third, and that ultimately you could lose the points lead pretty easily. 450 class, once again, let's be real, it's Kenny all day long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it was great. Like we talked about this, like it's anything having to do with dirt bikes, I'm always going to watch, especially like another Supercross series getting this going. But they definitely, and it's the first year, they have some stuff they got to work on. But Kev's right. It does have the potential to be very, very well, to go well. But they gotta, I think they got to bring in the right people that have the know-how.
Well, so Cooksy's been talking to Adam Bailey, and there's some things behind the scenes here, because Cooksy's like, dude, like, this should have been better than what it was, but there's some things going on. Like, so one of the big things here that they're really having to work on with all these different venues that they're going to here, that Feld has laid out already, is dirt. Like, that's the big problem. Where do you get the dirt? Where do you store the dirt? How do you get the dirt from outside the stadium in type deal? So that's like a big logistics thing that they're working on, which again, they've probably been working on it, but it's still not like an overnight thing to figure out where to store 9,000 tons of dirt, you know?
Yeah, because over here, like, we store them in a lot of like big, storage storage places or like in arenas.
And again, they have it laid out already for every single stadium that they go to.
Problem over there is a lot harder because a lot of the other places like that's big enough to hold dirt are soccer stadiums, and that's never going to happen. They're never going to store dirt in a soccer stadium.
No.
Like, they're not going to fuck that up. Soccer's too big over there.
So there's some logistics things that they're working through. How about that Mobile One sponsorship for the Rick Ware thing? Do you think that was just like a carryover from one of his other things, or do you think they're legitimately sponsoring that team? Because if they are, that is super interesting.
I think it might. Well, I think it might be a little bit of both. I think more so. I don't know if Mobile One is one of Rick Ware's, like, it's definitely not one of his IndyCar sponsors. So maybe it's one of his NASCAR sponsors, or
I don't know.
He's got Dude, he's got.
I just thought that was super interesting that was on them, because it's like, well, Mobile One definitely doesn't make motorcycle oil.
I definitely.
Well, they do, but no one uses it.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If they want to send me a whole bunch and say they sponsor us, like, I might use it in my bike too. But
yeah, exactly. I don't like the fact though that team. I think it's cool for the riders, but I think it's an optics thing. You got to get all the guys in the same brand. It looks super stupid that your 250 guy rides a Yamaha and then your 450 guy rides a Kawasaki.
I don't think that looks that dumb. Because the graphics aren't, because it's not a blue bike.
No. I don't mean that. I think the bikes look fine. I mean in the sense that you're supposed to be one of the bigger teams over there, and you don't have an actual OEM as a sponsor.
But there isn't any OEM for any of them. The OEMs just support the teams outside of that, and then the team just carries it in.
OEM might not be the right wording. Make a deal with somebody that sells bikes that you get bikes from. Have them on the same bike. The bikes look fine. I think the bikes honestly look kind of cool.
I was going to say, I kind of like it, the fact that it's not like a green Kawasaki and a blue Yamaha and a red Honda.
I think the bikes look great. I don't, not the way the bike looks. Put them on a Yamaha or put them both on Kawasaki's. I think it just makes it, I think it's one of those things as an optics thing. It just kind of, because the series is new, and maybe it won't in the future. Maybe it'll be to the point that, hey, if you have a team, you guys got to ride the same bikes. It's just kind of, it feels like it's thrown together, and it's like, here you fucking go, do whatever you're going to do, because that shit would never happen over here.
Yeah, but it's completely different. And to be honest,
And that's what I mean. Like, you see what I'm trying to say? Like, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it won't. Maybe in the future it gets to the point. Hey, your team rides Hondas. Everybody's got to ride a Honda. Your team rides Yamahas. It just kind of.
here's the thing. So I could see for practical reasons, aka parts, that kind of shit, to make them all ride the same. However, I would like to see it all like Rick Ware, where like you don't have it OEM branded.
Yeah.
You have like, what are you riding? I'm riding the Mobile One Rick Ware racing bike.
No, that
I understand what you're saying.
That I don't have a problem
And like
with
I'm
at all.
saying, in the future, okay, cool. Just for simplicity for the teams of like, okay, we're a gas team,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
Honda team. But I would like to see all the bikes in the series legitimately, completely separately branded, like matching, like the Rick Ware ones are, but completely separately branded and colored,
That I
so that
agree
it's
with.
not kind of like Formula One, for lack of a better term. You know,
Yeah.
like we all know that the Red Bull is powered by Honda or whatever it was at least.
Yep.
But and it's like, yeah, you have the Honda Motors logo there, but like outside of that, there ain't anything on there that tells
Same
me
thing
that's
with
a
the
fucking Honda.
Ferraris and the Mercedes Benz.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally. I definitely agree.
I
no,
think that
honestly,
would be really cool.
I think Shane's bike looks sick. Honestly,
I do.
Joey's bike, in white Kawasaki, it's kind of been done, but the white Yamaha, like that bike, honestly, I think is the best looking bike in the 250
Yeah.
group. I think it looks awesome, and especially with the kit that Shane has going, like I think his setup is sick. That's not, that I don't disagree with at all. I think that's really really cool. I just think that like getting the same bike brand in the future is more. It just looks more professional. Because like I said, when you have one guy running one bike, another, it's kind of like, well, here you fucking go. But no, I think it was a good first start, and it shows that like, hey, this is raw, this is new. We're trying to work on this.
And I think they're open to. I think they're open to criticism. Adam Bailey has said that like, yeah, we're working on things right now.
Yeah.
So
no, I think it was a good first round. Like I said though, the it's just a thing with 450 racing, I guess these days outside of the GPs. This is if Kenny could win every fucking race. To be honest with you,
yeah,
so that might get a little boring, I guess.
we'll see.
Depends. I don't want to. I just
Is he
don't.
gonna win when Webb shows up?
Maybe not. Probably not. I would actually give Coop I would actually give Coop the upper hand on that one.
Be crazy if Webb wins this title, setting Kenny out one race, and it's only 6 races anyway.
It would be a typical Cooper Webb circa 2021 thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that's just kind of the state of 450 racing these days.
Well, now we got 90 days to wait till we get to the next one, which is a long time. And I
Yeah.
couldn't find a schedule when I clicked the link tree to go to their website. It just clicked me out of Instagram.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So that was your World Supercross wrap up there. So we'll cover these as they continue to come through here, going through the fall here. Interested to see how it goes. One last thing before we wrap up here. I would just want to read off the Abide.moto Southwick recap because I think this guy's hilarious. So let me just read you his Southwick recap notes here. Note number 1. Metallica makes $2,500 in royalties from Enter the Sandman playing on loop. Because every single fucking reel, you don't quite get that. Every single reel that you see from there is to Metallica's Enter the Sandman.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me.
Okay. Junkyard Dog could still score points at the Wick. Changed my mind.
He's 60 years old.
Changed my mind.
Whatever.
Lars calls Hunter one tough son of a bitch. Too bad his crankshaft wasn't.
That's rough. That's rude.
He has some really good. Some of them it's like okay, but some of them are really good. Watching RJ ride sand makes me tired.
It makes me fucking tired too.
Yep. Here's a fun one. Can we just mail Jett the contingency checks and save him some flight time? How about the championship?
Jesus Christ.
Just tell him to stay home.
Stay home, bro. Just give him
Oh,
one.
God. Deegan shows he's the next Hurling's god of sand.
Oh, that's gonna piss off a law god.
I don't know about that one.
I hope somewhere that ends up in a forum and then just go to town.
Here's this last one's probably one of the best ones. Jimmy D shows up on a 4-stroke. Me and Danny Stew are sad.
Do you know who Danny Stew is?
Yeah.
Okay, good. because
and we're all sad about it.
We're all sad. I'd have much rather seen a 125. Well, a 150.
That
Whatever.
would have been awesome.
So yeah, I guess to round out the show, we supposedly get Pierce Brown back at Millville.
That doesn't do anything for me.
We're getting Fortner back at Washougal. That
That's
does a little
exciting.
bit. That does a little bit for me.
That moves the needle.
That does move the needle in an already wild 250 class.
Yep.
How funny it would be if Fortner just comes out and just goes 1-1, and then we're just like, what
Wow.
the hell?
Huh. I'd be like,
Not
well,
calling that,
that
but
was
I'm like,
interesting.
okay,
Okay.
all right, Ryan Hughes, good job. And then
Rhino.
a little bit irrelevant to most people because some of these people won't even know who these names are, and you probably won't either. But we are getting 2 GP dudes entering the 450 class for the last 3 rounds. A former multi-EMX 250 winner, a guy who's been top 5 in the MX2 class. His name's Steven Rubini.
Okay.
And then, don't laugh at this name, but you probably know who it is. He's also a former Bud Kawasaki racer, very talented. Very talented in the EMX 125, up and down EMX 250 career, Pierre Goupion. He will be, they're both riding 450s. I think they're going to be on Hondas. Goupion doesn't normally ride a 450, so that'll be interesting. And he is also a kid that just sends it. So
What was that?
he sent. I hope he doesn't run into Jett in practice because I'm super nervous with this kid because he is all over the place.
Great.
He is wild.
Sounds like a good time.
Not for whoever's around him in practice. But Rubini, he'll definitely be 5 to 10 more than likely. Very, very fast kid. So they're in for the last 3. So yeah, that'll be cool. Goupion, I don't really expect much because he, like I said, he's just a wild child. But Rubini is a very solid dude. So like I said, he should be 5 to 10. And that's honestly what we just need the 450 class is excitement and more people.
Yep.
Because right now, we don't have either of those.
All right. Well, this has been episode number 244.
God, can't wait for the comments after this fucking
The comments
show.
are going to be lit, bro.
Going to be legendary.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure to comment down below, especially you Deegan people.
God, I love you guys. I love you.
I
You
love
motivate. Not really, but you
keep this show going.
You keep this show going.
You literally keep the light on.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? All that money we're making off of them is good at Dollar Tree.
It's great at Dollar Tree. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to our sponsors, Complete Med Solutions, TLR Coatings, Holster Co., Gutter Works, Adept Creative Co., and Isaac Nelson Designs. We'll be back next week to wrap up Millville. And we'll see everybody then. Later.